All right. Can you see what? Let me see what. Think about the line mic. Wouldn't matter anyway. I'm gonna be anyway. Get the feed.
You live?
Yeah, I'm seeing one screen now.
I'm not seeing. Juan says we're streaming, but it doesn't sound like we know it.
Okay.
That is
Thanks,
correct.
Alon.
Thanks.
Let's pause this.
So you can. It says can't see us, but he can hear us. Okay, so people can hear us. Hello, everybody. We're working our issues out. We'll have it going shortly.
That was my command, probably.
Did we say this was a dance marathon? It's actually a texting with a lawn marathon.
Uh-huh. It's like there's some people chatting. That's great.
It says when the countdown, he says when the countdown hits 0, the page just hangs. Can you force a refresh? Did we say this was a dance marathon? It's actually a texting.
Thank goodness we're out to troubleshoot.
Is that something you can do, Joel? Can you force everybody who's on the page to refresh somehow?
No. But they will. I'm more worried about getting the black screen returned to something that we can see.
And Matt's on the chat. He's saying I'm an inferior Matt.
That's awful.
on. I can see you.
I can't see who the backer is, so I can't dance for them.
All right, let me switch to that window.
It's not Sharon Lincoln.
Nope.
I'm going to dance for Sharon Lincoln anyway.
You should.
Sharon, here's your dance. Joanne O'Brien?
Yes.
All right, Joanne O'Brien, thanks for backing. Here's your dance.
Oh, you got a lot.
So let's see how. Let's do these people here.
My head is chopped off.
So let's get these two people also.
Tilt the camera up. All right.
Those two people, Matt.
Well, adjust. Okay. Michael Gatto, here's your dance. And Jennifer Cox, thanks for pledging. All right. Mike Greenberg. Oh, he pledged for $1. All right, Mike, here's your dance.
Woohoo! All right.
All right.
Will you mute your computer?
Good.
So we don't get any volume out of that.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Nope, nothing.
Okay.
Still don't know where the chat is. Oh, here it is on the side. Okay, got it. Oh, who's the new one? Who's the new one? And Manuel Foob? How do you say that? Manuel, if you're on the chat, I would really like to know how to pronounce your last name. I'm just going to call you Manuel. Here's your dance. Montenegro.
Anybody asking any questions?
They're just saying hi. Think about Morocco.
Are they wanting me to respond in chat or with your voice?
One wants to know if we have an extra light. Yes, we are bringing lights. Lights are on the way. We will have lights in a few minutes, and it will be much less dreary looking.
We have camera and we have action.
We've lost Packer.
Can you dance backwards?
Yes, we've lost someone. Can you refresh so I know who unpledged?
Yes.
Beth. All right,
This one
Beth.
here.
Zip, zip.
No, Beth
is
Oh,
good.
Beth increased.
This is the one.
Canceled and then repledged. So, Beth Bernardo, here's your dance. Ow. And Tuomas Torbola.
All right.
All right. Can you refresh the left page? Or is that going to auto?
Theoretically, well, that way it's how out of sync.
Xandra Grissom.
Xandra! Woo! That's a friend of ours.
Really?
Yeah.
Thanks, Xandra. Great name.
She wanted us to name our daughter Xandra. She recommended that highly. She's recommended that to every friend that has had a baby. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure there's a Xandra coming.
Can you give me a refresh?
Yeah.
I guess I can do that too. So I don't need to pester you.
All right.
351, here we go. Jay. All right, Jay, here's your dance. And Will Byer. Will Byer. I hope I got that right. You know what this really is? This is a name mispronouncing marathon.
It is.
Another one, Alexis Dussel Swanez. Here you go, Alexis. Thanks so much. All right. I am Wee Johnny wants me to do a shout out to Mike and Nat. Mike and Nat, here's your dance. I hope I get to dance with you guys soon. All right. I wish I could raise this laptop higher. Okay, here we got a bunch. Molly Collins. Here's your dance, Molly. And Sebastian Lee, thanks for increasing your pledge. And thank you. Molly Collins. Wait, didn't I just dance for Molly Collins?
Yes, you did.
All right. You know the dance, Molly. Here you go. All right, dance break.
Do you need it higher?
No.
If the questions people are asking are applicable, you could just speak to your audience.
That's right. Okay, Kathy's saying, I'm not sure everyone knows how to chat. If you go to the Kickstarter page and look at YouTube, there's nothing about chat.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
So if you're watching on the Where the Heck is Matt site right now. If you click on the little YouTube button in the bottom corner of the window, it'll take you to the YouTube page, and you can chat with me there, ask questions. I'll answer them either on camera or typing. Is there a way you can have a window, have the video feed in the corner all the time so I know when I'm chopping my head off?
Sure. Get a new way you can see it too, so I'm gonna have to pull it down, but we'll put it up there for now.
Alon Lee increased his pledge from $100 to $101. Thanks, Alon.
I have a feeling that may happen.
I'm going to stop calling out dollar amounts because that's a little bit of a privacy breach. I'll just say he raised it by $1 and forget the thing I just said.
He's a friend of yours, so you're allowed.
That was fantastic.
Well played, Alon. How much convincing does it usually take to get people to dance with you? Really depends. If I'm in North Korea, it takes a lot of convincing. If people have seen the videos and they came to dance with me, usually not a lot of convincing, but I generally don't just go out on the street and try and rope people in to dance with me because I am not Richard Simmons. That's a skill I don't necessarily have. It's usually people who've seen the video and know what they're part of. I also don't really like roping people up and putting them in a dancing video and they don't really know what it is, and then they find out they're on YouTube and millions of people have watched it. That's a little uncool. So I like to dance with people who know what this is and know what they're a part of. Mark Bassan, here's your dance. All right, Alon's tweeting, every time I up my Kickstarter pledge by $1, Matt dances for me.
Dance.
How many times are you gonna do it, Alon? I'm in.
So I just added this now.
Valerie, thanks so much for backing.
Is that text on the screen okay with you? Okay.
Join in the chat, go to live feed. Yeah, great, thanks.
Do you want to add anything to the Kickstarter page?
Yeah. Best thing to do might be to go in the description and put the link in right up at the top. Alon Lee raised his pledge by $1. Thank you so much, Alon.
You're on, Joe.
That's gonna be funny for me every time.
Oh gosh, I keep chopping my head off. All right. I need to see that video feed on the screen so I know when my head is chopped off.
Okay.
What's going on here? Glenn Level. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Once again, here's your dance. Thanks so much. Walking Dead fan wants to know why I blurred the Middle Eastern people's faces. Middle Eastern people were in Damascus, Syria, and when I filmed the clip in Syria, it was perfectly safe. And by the time I was putting the video out in June of 2012, the Arab Spring had happened and Syria was at the beginning of its civil war. So to be associated in any way with an American at that time would have put a Syrian person in a lot of danger, and I didn't want to expose them in that way. It wasn't for any religious, conservative reason or anything like that. It was just for their safety. And I haven't been in touch with them actually since I filmed that. I don't have their contact information. I hope they're okay, but I didn't want to be responsible for anything bad happening to them, so we blurred them out. What is the most unlikely exotic place I have ever danced in my opinion? That would have to be Christmas Island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. It's a tiny little island that is technically part of Australia. Its major population is 150 million red crabs that live there, and also some coconut crabs, which are the largest species of land crab on Earth. They're about this big. They're insane. I didn't know they were there until I got there, and I was driving down one of the roads, and I saw a coconut crab this big crawl in front of my car, and I thought it had just landed from outer space. There's also a detention center on Christmas Island where Australia keeps people who tried to get into the country illegally, which makes it a very strange and interesting place to visit, and kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks. Hi, RS Maran in Spain.
¿De qué parte?
How do you explain to local people what you were doing when you travel the world to really remote places? Sorry, English is not my first language when I'm in there. Alexis Dussel. Well, I do my best. I try not to get in a position, honestly, of explaining the video and what it is to people. Best thing for me to do is show them the video. It does a much better job of explaining it. And usually when they see that, they enjoy it. They may not get it, but it's easier than trying to explain what I do. Trust me.
What about when you go to Hooey Wigman?
I did not show the video to the Movement. I did not think they'd be interested. Meredith, you inspired me to dance in front of the Chicago Bean. Totally embarrassed my 16-year-old daughter, but totally worth it anyway. Thanks for coming and dancing with me, Meredith. That was a long time ago now, 2008. The 2012 video, did you come up with the choreography beforehand, or did you make it up on the fly? That is from Zigzag Zag Zig Zigga. I'm not even trying. Yeah, we just kind of made it up on the spot. I had a couple ideas of dances to do usually when I show up, and I try out a couple different things and see if people in the crowd had some dances they wanted to do. And usually the stuff that they brought was a lot better than the stuff that I brought. Sometimes I was dancing with professional dancers, and in that case, I would just spend some time to learn how to do what they did as best I could, how to approximate it as closely as I could, and we would do their dances. All right, let's see. I have not been dancing for people in a while, so let's see what we got. Okay. Greg Stevens, sorry for making you wait. Here's your dance. Dark Blue, thanks so much for your pledge. Here you go. Debbie. Wow, thank you so much, Debbie. Here you go. And Kathy Pearl. Again, thank you so much, Kathy. Here you go. All right. Sorry. Let's see. I might have to. How long do I stay in each country? Do I stay there for a few days, longer or shorter? These days I move pretty quickly because I have kids at home. It used to be
more about traveling the world and getting to experience that, and I go for weeks or months at a time. These days, my focus is really making the best video I can make. So I go to get a shot, plan it out in advance as best I can, and then move on to the next place because I want to get as many parts of the world in a video as I can. Carmel Avnon, is there a way to vote for a different city than the one on my Kickstarter profile? I will be moving soon, definitely. What you can do is send me a message through Kickstarter and tell me where you want your vote to go. And I'll make a note of it and make sure it's counted for the right place. Oh, of course. What are all the books behind me? Frederick, the books are Northeastern Reporter, Second Series, Volume 452, Southwestern Reporter, Second Series, Volume 573, and so on and so forth. We're in the library of Mock's Boarding House in Bellevue. And this is a room they have for people to play tabletop gaming. And it was a great space for us, for us to use to film this. Articulations. How many countries have we been in total? If I haven't lost count. I have lost count, Art. I stopped at 100. I got to my 100th country and I was keeping tabs on it until then, and then I figured it really doesn't matter, and stopped keeping score. Awesome, thank you. Okay. All right. Hi, Nick. Let's see if we have any new pledges. Keith Vogue. Keith, here's your dance. Troy Charles Revis, here you go. Matthew Gagnon, here you go, here's your dance. Liz, thanks so much for backing. Paul Tang. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. Here you go. All right.
Raphael Conquest.
Raphael.
Conquest.
Where am I looking?
Are you planning to visit every country in the world?
Am I planning to visit every country in the world? No, that is not a goal of mine. There are a lot of countries. Last time I checked, there was about 192 with South Sudan at it. Hang on a second. It got to the point where it's hard to come up with a reason to visit certain countries. There are a lot of really tiny ones. Maybe when I was younger, and again, keeping score was more important to me, I would have tried to get to all of them. These days, I'm trying to get to the most people I can, and the places where there are the most people who want to dance. And that doesn't necessarily mean going to every country in the world.
Is there a country you haven't been to yet that you want to see?
Absolutely. Is there a country I haven't been to yet that I want to go to? Definitely. Top two on my list are Iran and Cuba. And I'm definitely going to be going there for this video.
All right, North Korea. How'd you get there?
North Korea. How did I get into North Korea? Actually, it wasn't that hard. The first thing we did was we Googled North Korea tourism. And we found Koryo Travel, which is out of Beijing. And they're happy to take you to North Korea. It's not very difficult. They will take anyone. You don't need to be a journalist. In fact, I think you can't be a journalist. I'm not sure what the rules were with that. But we just flew in from Beijing to Pyongyang, spent about 5 days there. It was very safe. You stay in a hotel, which is on an island, and you're not really allowed to leave that island unless you're supervised and with your tour guides. So it is very controlled what you see and do. But there were definitely times in the tour where it wasn't very controlled. And it was fascinating to see. So I would recommend it to anyone who has an interest. There's no place like it on Earth. It's interesting, it's tragic, it's a place that stays with you. And I think the world should know more about what's going on there. And the main thing is know that the people there are humans, just like everywhere else. And we get this image of North Korea that is very strange, and it starts to be dehumanizing, the idea that they aren't people, they're robots or something like that. But that's not the case at all. I recommend to anyone that they see it firsthand, and yeah. More dancing. I danced for Paul, right?
I don't remember, I should be on it. But dance for Paul again.
Okay, let's dance for Paul again. Paul, here's your dance. Okay.
There are more people to dance for.
Okay, Meredith McQuaid, Greason. Here's your dance. Thanks for backing. Linda Howard increased her pledge. Thanks so much, Linda.
Go, Stuart.
Just so you know, there is about a 15-second delay between when I see what your pledge or your question and when you see it on camera. Should I marry next year? What country I can go for honeymoon? Okay, I'm not going to tell you whether or not you should get married next year. That's up to you. But what country should you go to for your honeymoon? Depends on a lot of things. But I would recommend Morocco off the top of my head. It's beautiful. There's a lot of natural stuff to see. The culture is amazing. The food's amazing. You can go out to Ouarzazate, where they shot Lawrence of Arabia and Gladiator and lots of great movies. You can go all the way out into Merzouga, the edge of the Sahara Desert, which is where they shot the famous sunrise shot from Lawrence of Arabia, and it really looks like that. Go to Morocco for your honeymoon. That's my recommendation.
That's awesome. Did you ever get in any trouble while traveling?
Did I ever get in any trouble while traveling? Trouble? You mean trouble with police? Yes. In Pakistan, in Karachi, Pakistan, they showed up because it had ended up in the newspaper that I was going to be dancing in Karachi, and the police had a problem with that, which I'm still not clear about what the problem was, but they came and they shut us down. And then some people who had come to dance with me made some phone calls, and while the police were trying to get me out of there, they pulled some strings, and then the police said, never mind, we're done, we're good, and they walked away. And actually they provided security for us while we danced. So
you can see the machine gun guns.
yes, is it in the shot or is it right outside the shot? If you watch the 2012 video, I'm not sure you can see it in the shot, but there are AK-47 armed police standing all around us while we danced. Okay, Dark Blue. That name rings a bell. I think Dark Blue, you just backed and you just increased your pledge. Thank you so much. All right. So we're at 144,000. That puts us 6,000 away from our stretch goal. And if we reach our stretch goal, we're going to add 5 more cities. The cities with the top 10 most backers for the campaign, I will definitely be going to. Off the top of my head, I think those 5 cities are Chicago, Portland, Denver, Ohio, and Philadelphia. And then Toronto, Sydney, and Dusseldorf were right on the edge. They're 11, 12, and 13. So right now we only have 2 countries in the top 10 cities, and I'm hoping we get some more in there.
So if you only get, does that mean you will only go to those 2 countries, or will you go to other countries also? I'm
going to other countries. Those aren't the only places I'm going. Those are the cities that have the most backers are guaranteed that I will dance in them after the campaign. In the 2012 video, people would show up to dance, And they'd say, when is this going to be on YouTube? And I'd have to say, in about a year, maybe, if it makes the cut. I'm not doing that anymore. So as soon as we dance, that night I'm going to go back to the hotel, hopefully, and upload the footage, and we'll get it edited and up on YouTube right away as the dancing video for that city. And then when I'm done doing the whole tour, I'll take all the best footage and put it into one big video. So everybody's in, everybody's on YouTube, but not every clip is going to make it into the final video. All right, Mark Hamstra, thanks so much for backing. Here's your dance.
Marqueta Cosinova.
Marqueta Cosinova. Do you think that's a Spanish name?
No, but
You pronounce it like it's
I
Spanish.
always pronounce everything Spanish.
All right. Marqueta, thanks so much for your pledge. Here's your dance.
Will you go to France?
Will I go to France? I'd like to. I'm definitely going to be going to Europe. Paris is in the top 15 cities, so I don't know for sure. And if we reach our stretch goal of 175K, then I'll definitely be going to France. If it's in the top 15, that's a lot of qualifiers. Let's just say maybe. I don't know yet, but I hope so.
And what is the hottest country you've been to?
What is the hottest country I've been to?
Temperature and beautiful people. Let's do both, because we don't know what he's saying.
Okay, the hottest country in the world is Libya, and I haven't been to Libya. The second hottest country in the world, anybody know it? United States. Death Valley has the second highest recorded temperature ever, and I have been there. So I guess the hottest country in the world that I've been to is the United States. And the hottest, like hottest?
Like beautiful people.
That's a delicate one.
It is.
And I'm thinking of a lot of places right now.
Okay.
You know, Bhutan had beautiful people. I think that's probably a cop-out, but
It's because they're happy.
people in Bhutan were really, really happy. And everybody I met just kind of cheered me up a little bit. So that's one answer. Brazil, obviously, just obviously. Hungary, whoa. I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to go on.
You'd like to know what the coldest country is. Let's do temperature and people.
Coldest country in the world, I think, is Wisconsin. That's not a country. Coldest country I've been to, well, I guess would have to be Antarctica, but when I was there, it was not that cold. I went to Antarctica in December, which is the Antarctic summer, and I walked around on Antarctica in jeans and a long sleeve shirt. So I'm not going to call Antarctica the coldest place I've been, in that it wasn't that cold while I was there. Cold places. You know, Sweden's cold, Iceland's cold, Canada's cold, but I'm not thinking of having been to any of those places and it having been particularly cold, so I don't know.
What languages do you speak?
Oh, geez. All right, what languages do I speak? I speak English. I speak un poco de español. Did I even say that right?
Oh, that's really good.
All right, I speak a little bit of Spanish because I learned it when I was growing up. I've been using Duolingo and getting a lot better. Spanish is a really useful language to speak because you can use it in a lot of places. But that's about it. You can get by a lot on travel by just speaking English. We are really, really lucky. Those of you who speak English, we're really, really lucky because so much of the world speaks it as a second language, and so much of the world is learning it right now. So it's if you speak English, you can go pretty much anywhere. The only countries I've been to where speaking English really didn't get me anywhere were, again, Mongolia, and a lot of countries that were colonized by France, like Madagascar and I wouldn't say Rwanda. There are a lot of countries where if they don't speak the local language, they speak French instead of English, and then it can be difficult to only speak English. But for the most part, you can get by. What's up?
2 new pleasures.
2 new pleasures. All right, let's do dances for
Amanda Byron.
Amanda Byron. I know Amanda. Hey, thanks, Amanda. Here's your dance. And Wendy White. Wendy, here's your dance.
Where's the polar circle? Is that north or south?
The what?
Polar circle.
The polar circle, there are 2 poles, so both north and south are.
So have you been beyond the polar circle north?
I haven't been into the Arctic. I've been into the Antarctic polar circle.
But one of your Dance with Max, maybe?
Backed out.
Oh,
So
okay.
probably not going into the Arctic
All right.
Circle for this project.
Somebody up there north of the Arctic Circle, get on and pledge it to Dance with Max.
Yeah, somebody who's in the North
Bring that
Pole
to
right
you.
now. I'm not saying who, but someone in the North Pole, please back the campaign.
It's only 10 days till Christmas.
What's the most dangerous place you've been to?
The most dangerous place, again, I gotta say dangerous how. The most dangerous thing I've ever done was in Norway. I stood on the Sharad rock. You've seen the 2006 dancing video. You've seen me standing on a rock that's not much bigger than this. And it's wedged in a chasm 3,000 feet up in the air. And it is a straight drop down into the Norwegian fjords. I jumped out onto the rock, did a little, very timid dance like this, and then jumped back off. That was the dumbest, craziest, most dangerous thing I've ever done. Not gonna be doing anything like that again. Not on this video. I have a solemn oath to myself not to get killed making this next dancing video. In any case, as time's gone on, these videos have been less about doing crazy things and more about meeting crazy, interesting, or not crazy at all people and dancing with them. The video is about people. And anyway, what's the most dangerous place I've ever been? So I said the rock on Norway, but that's probably not what you were talking about. You probably meant like crime and terrorism and that kind of thing. And I try to make a really big point about saying that the places I've gone to that I was really scared of and thought were going to be really dangerous, I did not have that experience. By anyone, but I do understand that is a very real reality in Venezuela. Been to Iraq. I had a wonderful time when I was in Iraq. I was in Erbil in the north 5 years ago. Again, from what I understand now, Erbil is not as safe as it was in 2010. But when I was there, they had opened parks. People were going out, enjoying being outside, and you could sense the palpable sense of relief that everybody had to be safe and to be able to go out and enjoy themselves because the war had ended. Now they're in a whole other mess of trouble, and I'm very sad that that's the case. Other dangerous places I've been to Kabul in Afghanistan, and I had a wonderful time. Again, nobody ever threatened me. I never saw anything that made me think, oh, something bad's about to happen. So yeah, that kind of danger, I really feel like when you actually go to these places, if you go there with the right attitude and you're not an idiot about it, they're not as dangerous as they seem, or as, again, TV makes it seem like they are. I don't want to blame TV for anything. They're doing their job of reporting the news, but we get a false perspective on a world that it's all about to explode, and it's really not. So, I got it. All right.
What about that time you got sick? Were you bit by something?
The 2 times that I got sick were in Papua New Guinea and Pakistan. Pakistan was food poisoning. I ate the shrimp. I shouldn't have eaten the shrimp. If you go to Pakistan, have a wonderful time. Don't order the shrimp. Papua New Guinea, I was up in the highlands in Tari, and I got bitten by something. Something bit me right here, and I have the scar from the bug for the rest of my life. And I got sepsis or something, some kind of blood poisoning. I just know that the next day when I was leaving Tari, I was waiting for the plane to land on the runway, and I got really, really cold and sweaty, and then I passed out. And I woke up lying on the ground on the runway with vomit all over my face and a bunch of Kuliwit men standing around me, trying to figure out what was going on. And I woke up and just said, all right, I'm getting on that plane no matter what. And I kind of shivered and huddled like this in my seat with a bunch of blankets on me until I got out of Papua New Guinea and to Australia, where we have really nice hospitals, and went to the doctor there and got sorted out, and I was fine.
What's your favorite video that you've done? Luke Adams would like to know.
What's my favorite video that I've done? I think my favorite dancing video is still the 2008 video. I don't know why. There are some clips in it that I really, really love. I like the 2012 video a lot too. 2008 one I think is my favorite. The earlier ones I'm not as crazy about. I didn't really know what I was doing until I started adding people into the videos and getting them to dance with me.
So we're an hour in and 2 hours to go, huh? Carol wants to know, can you work around crutches? I just had surgery on my foot. Absolutely, Carol. I've had many people come out and dance in crutches and other things, and it's fine. We'll make it work. What is the most beautiful place I've been to? I think probably the most beautiful place I've been to, I have not danced in. I wasn't really making the dancing videos yet. In 2004, I went to the Seychelles, to an island called La Digue. And if you type La Digue in right now, LA space DIGUE, you'll see the beaches on La Digue, which are stunning. So that's what pops into my head right now as the most beautiful place in the world I've been to.
2 new backers?
2 new backers?
3.
3. Are they on screen?
I'll get them in a second.
Oh, Alon Lee raised his pledge. Thanks so much for raising your pledge, Alon. And Giselle Scanlon, thanks so much. And some random German guy has pledged. Thank you so much, some random German guy.
I'm just picturing Alon as
He's having a great old time right now.
evil. I can laugh.
No, Carol says thanks. You're welcome, Carol.
Although he's not quite fast enough to keep you dancing.
Max Torgov. Torgov?
Okay. What is the most beautiful place I've been to? I just answered that.
Oh, you did? I
Yep.
wasn't.
Will I be staying away from the Middle East this time with everything going on? No, I don't think so. The Middle East is a big place, and there are some places that I'm afraid I can't go to right now. It would be unwise, but that is the tiny minority, I think. Most countries, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't go to right now. And I would say probably almost definitely the Middle East. Somewhere in the Middle East will be the next video. At the very least, Iran. I'm definitely going to Iran. I've never been to Oman. I'd really like to get Oman in there. Oh, do we have some new backers? Looks like we do. Yes. Christina Hemmer, thanks so much for backing the campaign. Here you go. Hope we get a lot of light now. And Daniel Huber, thank you so much. Menu.
Yeah, I can take Mars.
Nachos? No. Poutine. Maybe it's. Poutine's a little easier to eat while you're standing up. Brian Dean Jennings in New Zealand. Thank you so much. Brian is my old roommate. He just raised his pledge. Here you go, Brian.
Susan would like to give a shout out.
Susan, here's your shout out.
To Isabella and Maddie.
Isabel and Maddie, I hope you guys come and dance with me wherever you are. Here's your dance.
Michael Gatto says that he raised his pledge to see you dance, but he did it before the marathon.
He did what?
He raised his pledge because he wanted to see you dance, but he did it before the marathon.
Before the marathon started. Well, what's his name?
Michael Gatto.
Michael Gatto, here's a quick hack you can do. Lower your pledge, then raise it up again, and I'll dance for you. Or I'll just dance for you right now. Michael Gatto, here you go. Matt Inman is trolling me. He just raised his pledge as well by $1. Here you go, Matt. I hope you're warm and cozy wherever you are right now. All right, Derek Spencer, thank you so much for pledging. Here you go.
You get this one
Yeah, I got him already.
Okay. Alright. Mike says, wow, that's service.
Wow, that's what?
Wow, that's service.
That's service, good. There's a 15-second delay, but I try to get to him as quick as I can.
Somebody wants to know what the books are that you're standing in front of.
The books, this is an iPad. The books I'm standing in front of are the New York Supplement, Atlantic Reporter, Southern Eastern Reporter. Let's see what they are. These are, I think, law books.
Coming to you from the Dance Mansion.
Yep. I like to keep a large inventory of legal books in my library.
From when? They're from the Snohomish Law Library.
Those are. Are they all from the Snohomish Law Library? They probably got them for $30.
From 1978.
The new race pledge from Dark Blue.
From Dark Blue, raise your pledge. All right, Dark Blue, thank you so much. Here you go. Yes, folks, if you want to game the system, you can just raise your pledges. There are some people I know who are raising their pledges by $1 at a time just to make me dance. I don't mind. I'll do it. I know that takes all the fun out of it.
No, it doesn't.
Matt, anyone want to shout out to Japanese Fighting Fishes?
All right, Matt, here's your shout out. Hey, Japanese Fighting Fishes, I can't wait to dance with you. Oh, Alon Lee has raised his pledge. All right, Alon, here's your dance. Thanks so much. Easiest $5 I've ever made.
Ooh, yeah.
Boom. Has he done it like 3 times? Did I miss one?
No, I think we're good. But he has done it 3 times. I think you've danced at least 3 times.
No, he said.
Here we go. Lisa Hornish, thank you so much for backing the campaign. What's that?
When you're heading to Chicago.
When am I heading to Chicago? I'm almost definitely heading to Chicago. Chicago's actually, it's number 6, right? I think Chicago's number 6. I think I'm going to be in Chicago pretty soon, probably this spring. I'm going to try and get most of the top cities done in a trip in this spring, which would be March, April, May. All right, this is a quick shout out to all of the law books on my shelf. Hey guys, here's a dance for you. All right, Alon would like a shout out to Matt Inman. Here you go, Matt, this dance is for you.
Maybe you should mention what the top recommended toy is on Amazon for 5-year-olds.
Hey, so last night, I was looking for Christmas presents for my son, and I went on Amazon and I looked up best toys to get for a 4-year-old boy, and the number 2 recommendation was a game called Exploding Kittens. So I bought it, and I think you should too.
Shout out to that.
And what was the number 1 for 3 years old?
Yeah, and then we were searching for younger kids Christmas presents, and the number 1 result was a game called Robot Turtles. So we got that as well. Again, I recommend it. Robot Turtles, really fun. Linda Howard has raised her pledge. Linda, here's a dance for you.
Wait. But she wants it to be for Tara, John, Ethan, Corinne, Eli, and Corley.
All right, this dance is for Tara, John, Ethan, Corin, Eli, and Cora. You go, guys.
That's my family.
See you in Portland, hopefully.
You got 2 more at the top there.
Skirtcraft? Sorry?
Yes.
All right, Skirtcraft, this one's for you.
Very good, Linda.
Yeah, but Lisa Hornish. Lisa Hornish, thank you so much for backing. All right. All right. Day Sherrock. Day Sherrock. Here you go. Thank you so much, Day. And Nick Opford, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here you go. Can we warm up? Do we have any saturation controls on the shot?
We're doing it
Kind of light. I'm glad I changed into a t-shirt. I'm just saying that before we went live.
Have we answered all these questions while we're getting everybody?
I don't know. What's the question?
Did you give a shout out to Matt Harding?
Give a shout out to this guy called Matt Harding. He does those weird videos on YouTube where he dances badly in different places. All right, Matt Harding, this one's for me. How many pairs of shoes have you worn out during your dances? I wear Merrells, just like these, and I get sentimental about my shoes for some reason, much to my partner's irritation, and I keep them all in a huge drawer in our dressing room that is just a drawer full of shoes that I've taken around the world. And how many pairs are there? God, there's like, I think there's 11 or 12 pairs of worn out Merrell hiking shoes. They don't have laces, they're really easy to slip on. You know, just put them on, forget about them. They last about a year. They last about 20 countries.
George Natan. He says
What's
hi.
that?
George Natan says hi. From Russia.
Can't see his name.
George Natan.
George Natan. Hey, George, where in Russia are you? Have I ever been to Iceland? Yes, I have been to Iceland. I went to Reykjavik in 2007, and at that point, a cheeseburger cost $27. The currency was really, really, really high, and I understand cheeseburgers have gotten a lot cheaper there since my visit. But it was beautiful. We got a car, and we drove all the way from one end of Iceland to the other and back. We didn't do the whole loop because we didn't have quite enough time, but we drove to the far end and watched some glaciers flowing out into the sea, and it was absolutely beautiful. We were also there in June, so it stayed like, nighttime was from about 3 a.m. to 5 a.m.
Somebody else wants to know what the books are behind you?
The books behind me are
All books.
law books. We've got West's California Reporter, second series, volume 14, Supreme Court, Courts of Appeal, Superior Court, Appellate Department. It looks like this. I have read each one of them, yes, cover to cover. It's too bad we weren't in the apothecary.
Right?
Gary Gestanen. Gary Gestanen, that rings a bell. I think I know Gary. Gary, here's your dance. Gary, I think I worked with you at Activision about 20 years ago. Great to hear from you.
Have you ever been geocaching?
haven't ever done geocaching, but I am obsessed with an app called Strut on my iPhone, and Strut is a bit like geocaching. It's a game that gives you 1 point for every tile you go to. They take the whole world, the whole map of the Earth, and they break it down into tiles that are about 1/10 of a mile square. And you, when you go to a new tile, you unlock it and you get a point for it, and then it ranks everybody based on how many places in the world they've been. And I am not doing very well because I've spent the last 2 years at home changing diapers and walking my dog. So I've got some catching up to do. Right now, I'm ranked, oh, it just crashed. Right now I'm ranked about 40th worldwide on Strut, and I'm hoping making this next video gets me into the top 10. Yep. I am ranked 46th worldwide in Strut. And look who's number 6. Oh man, Alon, you're in 6th place. Wow. Alon's gonna have to come with me on this trip so that he can get ahead of A. Weitzman and win Strut.
Which one's the captain?
You mean Captain Roboto?
Yeah, or where's he at?
Captain Robusto has fallen behind. He's in number 2. So Alon and I were both really getting into Strut 2 years ago when it first started, and we went to Coney Island with a guy who was a travel writer. And Alon and I were talking about Strut and how obsessed we were with it. And this guy was listening to us, and he went home and he got a Strut account, and he is now number 1 worldwide, A. Weitzman, with 2.5 million tiles. So we shouldn't have mentioned Strut because now Alon is 1 notch lower because of A. Weitzman. Oh. Yes, Alon is linking to his 5-minute talk on Strut. If you go to YouTube, let's see what it's called. If you're on YouTube right now, so if you type in Alon Lee Ignite presentation, you can watch his talk on how Strut got him on the no-fly list. And had who was it? It was, I think, the Department of Homeland Security raided his house as a result of his strutting while on planes. Because when you strut, the best way to get tiles on Strut is when you're flying, because if you can get your phone's antenna to get a signal from the satellites, you will get tiles while you're in flight. You can get like 2,000 tiles an hour from flying. But to get reception, you've got to get your phone right up against the window of the plane. And searching for satellites constantly drains your phone's battery really fast, so you have to have external batteries in your seat the whole time, and you have to be charging that phone. And it looks really bad, especially when Alon and I were flying together, and the two of us would both have our phones wedged up into the plane window with cords dangling out. And Alon was noticed doing that during one of his flights, and he was reported.
The Caribbean port. And then cheeseburger.
Jeff Hassan, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here you go. And Carol Baswell, thank you so much for your pledge. Here you go.
Okay, there's your protein. I think I got you some protein also. I'm concerned.
You got me some poutine and some protein?
Yeah.
All right. I really want to thank my team who's helped me with this campaign, but I don't want to move the camera and then have to get it back in the same place. So if I do this right, no, wait. You should be able to see. This is Renee, Kenny, and Joel. This is ground control right now. This is how we're doing this. We got a big screen showing me stuff. Thank you, Renee and Kenny and Joel, for 2 months of ridiculously hard work. Yay! I hope that worked. That worked?
We'll see it here in
I
a
wasn't
second.
looking there. Let's see.
Oh, there
Yeah,
it
you can
is.
sort of see him.
There it is.
Kenny, Renee, Joel. That's so weird.
Message for you in the upper left if you're interested.
Upper left?
Yeah.
Strut sounds awesome. Going to get it.
Sorry, only 4 dancegrams left.
Only 4 dancegrams left. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. So dancegrams. We have one of the tiers is called the dancegram. We thought of it the day before we launched the campaign. And we put it up. We didn't know what happened, but they sold out pretty much instantly, and we kept raising the limit on them, and they keep selling out. The idea is when I go around the world next year, if you have dancegram, you give me a message to say to a loved one, if it's your husband or your wife or your kids or someone who really likes the dancing videos, and I will say that message while I dance all over the world. So you'll get your own customized round the world dancing video if you pledge at the dancegram level. We're making 30 of them. I think we've sold 26. So we've got 4 left in the next 2 hours. The next hour and 39 minutes, there are 4 dancegrams still available. And Matt Comes to You. How many Matt Comes to Yous have we got? 2? Yeah, I think we made 12 Matt Comes to Yous available. And what that is I will fly to you anywhere in the world, wherever you are. I will fly. I will cover the expenses. It's a $2,000 tier. We have 12 of them available, and we've sold 10 of them. So there's 2 left. If you want to dance with me, it's not a guaranteed placement in the video, and I'm not doing any kind of advertising or promotion with it, but I will come to you and we'll dance. And now I'm going to eat some poutine. Let me get this, I'll get it right now. Alon was reported to the FBI Counterterrorism Division, and he had to do an interview to explain that he was not a terrorist. For the dancegram, should it be one short message which you'll show in each location, or could it be a longer message strung across multiple locations in bits? Finrod3791, you've got it. It can be a long message. It can be a minute long, and we will chop it up into pieces, and I will say your message to your loved one or whoever, or enemy. It could be your arch nemesis. And I'll say that message over the course of the 1 minute or so video around the world.
Especially if you're sending a nice message to your people.
Yeah, that's the best. Ideally, all the dancegrams would be people making videos for their arch nemesis to try and bury the hatchet and settle their differences. I hope I get to make a bunch of those.
Bringing people together. Reconciliation.
All right. I don't know if this is Rachel or Rochelle. I'm going to go with Rochelle. Thank you so much for your support. Here you go. And Melinda Harlow, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here you go.
Joel.
There's no link to this video. Kickstarter, okay. By the way, there is a way you can game this. If you really want me to dance for you, you can raise your pledge by the smallest increment possible, even $1. I'll still dance for you. I think you can maybe even go smaller than that. I don't know. But if I see you on the list as having backed or raised your pledge, I'm going to dance for you.
You want to give out a Kickstarter link because somebody's asking about it? Just
The Kickstarter. So if you go to www.wheretheheckismatt.com/KS, that will take you to the Kickstarter campaign page where you can pledge. There should hopefully be on whatever screen you're looking at, there should be a link. But if there isn't, you can just type it in, wheretheheckismatt.com/KS. All right, somebody was listening. Tuomas Tolvola, you raised your pledge by 1 cent. Thank you very much for that extra penny. Here's your dance.
Did you get these two?
Yeah.
Rachel. That is Gary. You did work with you after the show.
Hey, Gary.
Don't know
can see. It looks like some kind of Cyrillic Baltic language.
I'll Google it.
Okay. Tuomas Tolvola, thank you so much for raising your pledge again. Here you go. And Ben Rebido, thank you for raising your pledge.
Polish.
That's Polish. Okay, we got a bunch of new ones. Nope, these aren't new. These are from 40 minutes ago.
Elaine's still dancing.
I'm gonna start eating poutine off camera because it's not pretty.
This is what Google Translate said he said. Maybe.
Dance with goodness of son. Hey Renee, where are these?
The chicken nuggets with a green chili and cooking sauce. Your leg's just floating there. It's kind of funny.
Okay.
What's the fun on this most recent comment?
Used to work for a big tourism company, would show your video around as a morale boost. It's just good medicine for morale. Thanks, Marco. Any luck on fixing the saturation? Oh, I should be on camera, shouldn't I? Makes people leave.
Where's the iPad?
I'm just going to stop eating poutine and get back on.
Here's your poutine.
Backup poutine?
Got another poutine?
Well, for the crew.
Okay. Be careful. Top on top.
Thank you.
Thomas Schaefer, thanks so much for supporting the campaign. Here you go.
Hey, Matt,
Yes.
can you tell me about the Bhutan trip?
So, as part of this Kickstarter campaign, we are doing 2 trips where I'm taking backers with me, and both of them are going to happen. One of them is Bhutan. Bhutan we'll probably be going to hopefully in April or May. The reason for going to Bhutan is one of my favorite countries I've ever been in. It's absolutely fascinating. The first thing I tell people usually about Bhutan is there's no advertising. It might even be illegal to run advertising in Bhutan. So instantly, right off the bat, it's different from any other place you've ever been. There's no billboards, there's no signs for anything. They don't do advertising because it makes people less happy, apparently. It does. I actually agree with that. And Bhutan is just, it's kind of like going back in time. People wear traditional dress there, and it's very agrarian lifestyle. I think it's 85% agriculture, the employment there, so people have rice fields, and when it's harvest time, everybody goes to one field and they harvest the rice field for that one family that owns it, and then the next day everybody goes to the next field and they all harvest that field, and it's a very communal lifestyle. It's really interesting to see. The big thing we're going to do when we're there is we're going to go hike up to the Tiger's Nest, which is a 500-year-old, I think, Buddhist monastery built on the side of a 3,000-foot cliff. And if you Google Tiger's Nest right now, you'll see a picture of it. It's absolutely stunning. And we're going to hike up there, and we're also going to do some longbow archery, which is the big leisure activity in Bhutan. And it's more than leisure; it's actually a livelihood. I think they hunt in Bhutan, probably. And then we're going to see the famous Bhutanese penis houses. So
There's a character in Bhutanese Buddhism named Lama Dupra Kinle, and he traveled the countryside of Bhutan slaying demons with his enormous penis. And even still today, he is a revered figure, and to ward off evil spirits, people hang wooden phalluses from their houses, and they paint giant Lama Dupra Kinle penises on their door fronts so that demons will not come and attack them. So that is a wonder to behold. And once again, if you Google Bhutan penis, you'll probably see a lot of interesting things, but you'll also probably see the houses that I'm talking about. So we're going to go to Bhutan and check that country out, and then after that, we're going to go to Myanmar. Myanmar is another fascinating place. It's been closed off to the world for so long. It's just opening up.
Here, you want to show?
Let's see. Wow, that's amazing.
That's awesome. Back up just a little bit. The contrast is a little bit bad.
So crazy.
The URL is is.gd/Matt.
It's not showing up at all.
Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Shout out to Poutine.
All right, I'm going to roll it. Here you go, Matt. This is poutine for you. A really good poutine.
That was fantastic.
I haven't checked the background in a while.
We have Aaron Ruff.
All right, Aaron Ruff, thank you so much.
Read this first.
I'm at 12/17, I'm 12/17, and my birthday is 12/17. Thank you so much, Aaron Ruff. Happy birthday, here you go.
I got a few more highlighted for you now.
Lisa, thank you so much for backing the campaign. I hope I get to dance with you soon. Here you go. I hope that holds you over. Some random German guy, you canceled your pledge, oh no. Rebecca, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Austin Ginder, thank you so much. Judy, hi, how you doing? Are you gonna dance? We gotta dance in Seattle again. You didn't come to the Seattle dance. Probably too short notice, but well, maybe I'll just come over to your house again and we'll dance there. All right, thanks, Judy.
Thanks, Matt.
I think it is made with cheese curds. The poutine better be made with cheese curds. If not, it's not real poutine.
I think it's real poutine. What's the URL for?
I posted it to the thread. It's is.gd/Matt.
Matt?
Yeah, right here.
How's that?
Love it. This comment, talk about traveling on a budget.
What I'd give to come to Myanmar with you, I hate being a poor student. Hey Josh, you know what? When people ask about traveling on a budget, my first bit of advice is Southeast Asia. That was one of the first places I ever did backpacker international travel. It's great. Countries like Vietnam, Laos, especially Myanmar, Thailand, they're very, very affordable places to go to. If you are a student and you want to go to Europe for the summer, you'll go and you'll have a budget and you will spend it all in the first week. And then you'll have 3 months where you'll be hiding in your hospital trying to stay alive. Europe's really expensive. Southeast Asia, you can go for a long time. That same amount of money you went to Europe with would last you all summer in Vietnam, Thailand, Myanmar, Laos, Malaysia, maybe even Indonesia. Southeast Asia is great. And it is another reason why it's great to go to is if you're from the States or from Europe and you go from one to the other, it's not a big departure. Sure, the cultures are very, very different, but they do share a lot of, you know, Western behaviors. And if you go to Southeast Asia, it's very, very different. Life is so different there. You're way outside of your comfort zone and you are seeing a really different part of the world. So I would recommend that for your first backpacker travel trip. And then there's a whole lot more to the world than that, but it's a really good start.
Got one more.
One more question?
New one.
I first discovered you in January 2010 while my dad was in hospice, and I happened upon your 2008 video. That video and the emotions it evoked and the great song helped me through a very rough time. Thank you very much, Jeff.
Your background topic.
Natalia Ferreira? I'm going to go with Natalia Ferreira.
Ferreria.
Natalia Ferreira. It's easier when the people are standing in front of me to correct me. But anyway, thank you so much, Natalia. Here you go. Wow, thank you a lot, Natalia. I'm gonna eat more poutine.
Are you going to be seeing Star Wars? Is that question on it?
No, that question's not for me. That would be a good question.
Is that highlighted for me?
Yeah, it's just the next one. Oh, we got two more.
Judy McGuire, thank you so much for backing the campaign. I'm dancing with poutine in my mouth.
Not recommended.
Ian Lowe?
Ian.
Ian? Ian Lowe, thank you so much for backing the campaign.
One more.
Josh Korn. Josh Korn, thank you for backing the campaign.
He was the one who was asking me about budget advice.
Oh, thanks, Josh.
Cool.
We got a couple people from Argentina.
Yeah.
Hi, Argentina. Red Shepherd would like to know what you've been doing all these years.
Where's the question? Red Shepherd, not Brad Shepherd, right? Red Shepherd, what have I been doing all these years? I've been having kids. That sounds weird. I have had kids over the last 4 years, and it's meant a lot less travel. Yeah, just as we were finishing the 2012 video, I became a dad, and we had another son more recently, and that has really been my focus since finishing that video. And next year is going to be the first time really that I've been leaving the house much in a long time. And I am both looking forward to it and a little bit sad about it, of course. We are halfway through.
Yeah.
So if you want to send this to anybody else, you can just grab the link, or you can tell them to type in www.wheretheheckismatt.com/live. Once you get that on your screen, you can actually click on the little YouTube in the corner, and that'll take you to a page where you can actually chat with me and ask questions. I didn't really finish talking about the Myanmar trip. So Myanmar, we're going to go, and we are going to do a bunch of things in Myanmar. But the big thing, we're going to fly up to Bagan. Bagan is an ancient Khmer city that collapsed around the 12th century, and they built thousands of these temples. They might be called stupas, and they built thousands of these temples, and they're out there in this ancient city that is just kind of overgrown with foliage. It's a bit like Angkor Wat in Cambodia, although a lot less people go to Bagan than Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat is also more jungle than Bagan, which is kind of savanna. And so what you can do in Bagan is you can fly over it in a hot air balloon, and it seems like it's allegedly the best way to see it. I can't imagine it not being. You fly over in massive hot air balloons, and that's the big thing, the big draw. We're going to go to Myanmar and ride a hot air balloon over the lost city of Bagan. And then we're also going to go to Mandalay and see Ubane Bridge, Stilt Bridge, which is beautiful. Hopefully walk across it. And then we're going to go to Kutada Pagoda, which is called the world's largest book. They've taken the Tripitaka, which is an ancient Buddhist text, and they've written it on 730 stone slabs and put each one in its own little stupa and built this big shrine to the text, which is enormous. And if you read it, I think if you sat down and read the Tripitaka from beginning to end, nonstop, it's something like 10 years of reading or something like that. It's a really long book. I have not read it myself, but we're going to go check out the Kutada Pagoda, and we're going to go back to Yangon, the capital, and visit Shwegadon Pagoda at night. And I'm going to be saying Shwegadon a lot while we're there, and it's lit up at night, absolutely stunning. But Myanmar is another really fascinating place, and it's changing so fast. It'll probably be different when we're there because their government and their society are opening up so quickly. Jay increased their pledge. Thank you for increasing your pledge, Jay. Here you go. Jay, you got an extra long dance.
Someone wants to know if you're going to travel with your kids.
I'm going to travel with my kids. I don't want to say anything definite about that. I actually don't really want to talk too much about it, but I would say I have one kid who is really, really, really wanting to go on the trip with me, so we'll see, hopefully. He loves travel. I took him on a road trip this summer for 2 weeks, the two of us in a car, and we had a blast, so hopefully.
Have you ever been to the Marshall Islands?
Have you ever been to the Marshall Islands? No, and apparently they're not going to be available to go to for much longer because the high water mark on the Marshall Islands is about 2 meters above sea level. So in 50 or 100 years, they may be gone. I haven't been to the Marshall Islands. I've been to Guam, which is, I believe, right underneath the Marshall Islands. And then there's Tinian, where the Enola Gay took off to drop the atom bomb. That's in the Marshall Islands. I've not been up there, but I've been close. I love the South Pacific Islands. Those are actually some of my favorite places in the world. I've been to Tonga, I've been to Yap in the Federated States of Micronesia, and Chuuk, which has some of the best diving in the world, and Palau, which has maybe the best diving in the world. Of course, been to Hawaii, Guam. I really love South Pacific Islands, and no, I haven't been to the Marshall Islands. Actually, there is one island that I think is in the Marshalls. I really love scuba diving, and there's one island I've heard about where after World War II, the U.S. did a lot of atom bomb testing on seized Japanese warships. They put them in the atoll, and they dropped atom bombs on them and sunk them. And you can now, 70 years later, the radiation levels are low enough that you can go down and you can swim in these Japanese shipwrecks, and some are U.S. shipwrecks as well.
Everyone doing well?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember the name of the island in the Marshalls where you can do that. You can.
Let's Google it.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to know if you met people twice in 2008 and 2012. Did you meet the same people when you were?
Did I meet any of the same people? Yeah, quite a few people are in both the 2008 video and 2012 video. And there are a couple people who are in multiple shots of the 2008 and 2012 video. They would, like the Grateful Dead, they would follow me from city to city and show up multiple times.
Or they just happen to be in the same place. Like there was that one that was in Hong Kong, was it? And then he lived in Barcelona.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I danced with the guy in Hong Kong and then saw him again in Barcelona later that year.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking about the country with the most interesting culture. Maybe just mention a country that you haven't talked about yet.
Somebody's saying, which country you visited had the most interesting culture? And I already talked about Bhutan because it's so unique and so different in so many ways from what you're familiar with. But I would say another one is Japan. For a country that a lot of people go to and a lot of people know about, it's incredible how top to bottom just about everything is different in Japan, from the way we do things here, the way we eat, the way we bathe, the way we talk, the way we socialize. It's all so different in Japan and so intimidating to me as a traveler. But I love Japan. It's just so very, very different. Do you think you've changed how non-Americans think about Americans? I don't know that I've changed much of anything. The way that non-Americans think about Americans is an interesting subject, and I've seen it change since I've been traveling. Honestly, I think the big thing, to be blunt and get a little political, I think when we changed presidents, I've been traveling over the course of 2 different presidencies, and the way that people talk to me under one president has been very different under this new president, and vastly preferred. I think our image has been enhanced abroad by a president who has very different policies, particularly foreign policies. So I think that had a lot more impact than I did. I don't know. I hope so, but I don't know. Do I still write code? Alan, no, I don't write code. I never really wrote code. I did scripting as a game designer, but I was not a programmer.
Is it Castle Coon?
Castle Coon?
Totally
The
different.
island? No, it's not. It's an atoll, I think.
Okay.
Okay. Bikini Atoll, that's it. How could I forget that name? Bikini Atoll is the island you can go to supposedly and dance in.
Is that where SpongeBob is?
Does he?
I don't know.
Bikini Bottom.
Okay.
SpongeBob's in Bikini Bottom, I think. All right, Bjorn Engel, here you go. Thanks for your support. And George Denier. George, thank you for backing the campaign. Here you go.
So we canceled.
George, you canceled.
Dance backwards.
Okay. That dance is retracted.
You what?
Just logged in, so I have missed it, but wonder what you do to pay your bills. Seeing all the books in the background makes me wonder if you were some way involved in practicing law. No, Nev, I do not practice law. We're at the Mox Boarding House in Bellevue, Washington, and this is their library room, which they stocked with law books that they got from the Snohomish Library for, I'm guessing, about $20, and that is our backdrop.
Inman wants to go someplace. Can we go here?
Okay, Matt's saying something. Go to ios.gd/. Bat. Okay, bat. ios.gd/bat. Shout out to Banjo Batman. All right, this is from Matt Inman from the Oatmeal. He wants a shout out for Banjo Batman. Here you go, Banjo Batman. Chad Nakashima. Thank you so much for your support. Here you go. You're welcome, Matt.
Do you still talk with John, the YouTube family?
Do I still talk with Jawed? I haven't heard from Jawed in a long time. So no, I think I had dinner with him 5 or 6 years ago. I don't know what he's up to. Have I ever been scuba diving and or did I like it? Yes, Walking Dead fan. I love scuba diving. I go every time I'm anywhere near warm water, I go. I haven't done dry suit scuba diving. I don't see much point. Apparently it's fantastic. I haven't done it, but I like diving in tropical places. My favorite place called Operation Hailstorm or Hailstone. It's sort of a reciprocal to Pearl Harbor in 1944, February 1944, I think. Japan had most of its Pacific Fleet stationed in what was then called Truk Lagoon. And the US came and bombed it to oblivion. They sunk about 60 ships in one day. And Truk Lagoon is actually very shallow. So a lot of those ships went down to about 100 feet of depth, which is pretty easily diveable. And you can go there and swim through the wrecks of Japanese warships and tender ships and whatnot. And there are even some crashed Zero fighters. I remember going into the hold of the Heian Maru, I think it was, and they had 6 Japanese Zero fighter planes in the hold. And I was able to go and sit inside the cockpit of one of the planes and look at the instrument panels and a pair of binoculars and whatever they wear on their heads and look around. It's amazing. It's exactly how it was 70 years ago, just with 70 years of ocean currents moving stuff around. I remember going through a corridor inside one of the ships and the dive master pointed to something in the corner and then looked at me and went, because it was live munitions that have been down there for 70 years. And occasionally, now and then, somebody does dislodge a round of ammunition, like a big shell this big, and it explodes, and it's pretty dangerous. So, fascinating place, and actually would love to take my kids there someday. I've been skydiving. Have I ever been skydiving? Yes, Walking Dead fan. I have been skydiving. I went once, got out of my system. Don't really need to do that again. My friend who I went skydiving with, it was his first time as well. He loved it. He decided he wanted to skydive as a hobby, so he took a course, and on his second jump, the wind changed between when he jumped out of the plane and when he landed. He hit too hard, damaged his ankle, done skydiving or doing much at all for the rest of his life. So I didn't want to end up like that. I skydived once. It was amazing. Don't ever need to do it again. What do my kids think of my videos? Here's a pro tip. If you're a parent, when it's time to cut fingernails, because you need to cut your kids' fingernails about every 2 weeks, sit them down, pull up one of the dancing videos. I recommend 2008, and they will be hypnotized and frozen, and you can clip their fingernails, and they will just keep watching your phone while you do it. So my kids think of the dancing videos as the fingernail clipping videos. Meredith, you got your video up. Matt's Happy Dance at the Bean, no music. Thank you so much, Meredith, for the video. I will check it out just as soon as I'm done with this. What's my favorite place I've ever been to? Spitsbanane. That is a question I get asked a lot, and I don't have a great answer to it. It changes day by day. The big ones, I would say top of my list, are Bhutan and Myanmar. Have I mentioned Bhutan and Myanmar? Those are 2 of my favorite places I've ever been. I can't wait to go back on this trip. A couple other ones, Namibia, for sure. Antarctica, Mongolia, and the Federated States of Micronesia. I think that's 6. Those are my favorite countries where I personally had the best time, but different people connect with different places for different reasons. So that's not really the best. That's just the ones where I had a particularly amazing experience. Bhutan, it's the people. Myanmar, it's the temple ruins. And Mongolia, it's the countryside. It's actually was talking to you about this, Kenny. It's a lot like Montana, but just really, really open and relaxing. Namibia is fascinating. I really love Africa, but when you go to Africa, there's a lot of stuff you have to deal with and a lot of dangers. Namibia, so for example, Kenya. You can go to Kenya and you can drive around the countryside. That's a country of 45 million people. And you have to be careful. There are, at least when I was there are bandits on the side of the road who will stop your car and shake you down and things like that you have to worry about. That makes it really hard and frankly not fun. Namibia is a country of 3 million people, and it's probably twice the size as Kenya, and it's just open. And when I was in Namibia, I would rent a car and drive across the desert. And when you saw somebody who wasn't in a car, you'd pick them up because people's cars break down all the time in Namibia. And my car broke down, and I was out on the road, and I hitchhiked. And I met a lot of people that way, and it felt very safe, and it was absolutely beautiful. Sossusvlei and Dedvlei in Namibia, absolutely breathtaking. The Namib Desert, there's just a lot there. There's just a lot there to see, and not a lot of people go there. So it's one of my favorite places. Antarctica, of course, that's like, going to Antarctica is like taking a trip to another planet. And devoid of life. I thought it was just going to be frozen plains. It's not. I probably saw 10,000 penguins in Antarctica. You cannot go to Antarctica and not see penguins. Basically, when you see a map of Antarctica and you see the coastline, just imagine a billion little dots. Those are all penguins, because the penguins all live right on the coastlines of Antarctica. Anywhere you land, there's going to be them there. And then in the water, you've got orcas, you've got sei whales, you've got fin whales, you've got humpbacks and blue whales. There's so much to see in the water. And then albatross, you see albatrosses flying around. They're the largest bird in the world. They have a 12-foot wingspan, and you'll see them out in the open ocean on the way from Argentina to Antarctica. And they can just stay up in the air for, I think, days. I don't know how they do it. So Antarctica was absolutely fascinating for wildlife. Okay.
Might have a problem with the feed. Oh, we're back. It's like our connection had a hiccup. I think you got four video.
I haven't done any dances for a while. Have I done?
I don't know if you did Chad.
I did.
You did chat.
I did Chad. I don't think I've done Michelle Zielinski. Michelle, this dance is for you. Thank you so much for backing the campaign. Lela Zucker, thank you so much for your support. Here you go. And Matthew Cox, thank you for backing the campaign. I hope I get to dance with you soon. Hope this tides you over. Dark Blue, increase their pledge. All right, Dark Blue, thank you so much. And Tom Yet, thank you so much for backing the campaign. All right, I need a chicken nugget.
Looks like our connection is sticky. Everything okay?
Are we off?
No, don't do that. We lose the feed.
Do I have any pets? I did have a pet. We lost our dog in July. My laptop looks like it's charging. It's not charging. Okay.
Ooh, favorite souvenir from your early adventures.
Favorite souvenir from my early adventures? That's a really good question. My favorite souvenir, I wish I had it with me right now to show you. I went to the island of Zanzibar, and we found this shop in Zanzibar that, you remember the beginning of Gremlins when the guy went to the shop in Chinatown that had all these kinds of souvenirs and oddities? I found that shop. It's in Zanzibar. And I got an Arabian dungeon lock. So the idea with this lock is it has 4 keys. And the only way to open the lock is to have all 4 keys. So they would give a different key to each of the security guards in this dungeon. I looked into it and I found out the design is German. It's about 600 years old. So it's a medieval dungeon lock from Europe that made its way to the Middle East, and then from the Middle East it made its way to the island of Zanzibar, where I found it.
and I have it in my living room, and every time anybody comes over, I hand them the key, and they're very entertained trying to figure out how to get it open, because you need to figure out where on the lock to put all 4 keys. Pledge today, and I live in Hollywood, Florida. Have you ever been here? We have a very cool beach. Carol, I have not been to Hollywood, Florida. I've definitely been to Florida. I think I'm going to be in Florida in about a month. I don't know if I'm going to make it to Hollywood, but here's a dance for you right now, Carol. Favorite Christmas movie? Die Hard. I'm not even going to think about that. Favorite Christmas movie? All right, give me 3. Die Hard, Elf, and maybe Love Actually, because I'm a little sappy.
It's the smallest country I've ever been to.
Smallest country I've ever been to.
Have you been to Vatican City? I think
Micronesia. I haven't been to Vatican City, so that's not it. Oh, Liechtenstein. Smallest country I've ever been to is Liechtenstein. And I danced in it, and I did not put it in the 2008 video. No, I didn't put it in the 2006 video.
Longest travel?
What's the longest travel you've done? I went, for the 2006 video, I made that in 6 months nonstop. I came home in the middle for 2 days. I pretty much traveled nonstop, did 39 countries in 6 months, and almost lost my mind. So I'm not going to do any more 6-month trips, and at least not doing 39 countries. I was on a plane almost every day for those 6 months. So now I make the videos a little differently. For the 2008 video, I go a month at a time. I plan a month of travel. For the 2012 video, it became more like 3 weeks. Now it's going to be like 1 or 2 weeks of travel at a time. I'm going to put a lot of planning into it, do as much as I can in that time, and then come home and rest, because I am old now. Micronesia, yeah, I kind of guessed it was small. Yeah.
All right, Carol, I will see you in Hollywood, Florida on crutches. Andrea canceled her pledge. Not going to dance backwards for her. And we need some poutine.
Poutine break.
Next. Update Facebook post.
The bottom 2 comments are good.
Okay. Don't I get bored? Well, I spend a lot of time in airports, and no, I don't get bored because I have things to keep me busy. I used to take books of, this sounds ridiculous, but I used to take Sudoku books with me. That got me through the early days of travel, and I would never get bored because of that. Nowadays, I have this, and this is an instant never bored machine. Unfortunately, it also means you never have a coherent, uninterrupted thought. But it makes travel never, ever, ever boring, even if I'm doing 5 flights in a row, nonstop, and would otherwise lose my mind. I came here to see some dancing, not poutine. All right, here's some dancing. Tell them how to get not poutine.
Tell them how to get you to dance more.
Yeah. Mopor, if you want to see some dancing, have you backed the campaign yet, Mopor? Because if not, you can't be asking me to dance if you haven't backed the campaign.
Or increase your.
Or yeah, increase your pledge. You when you aren't dancing around the world. Oh, Brian, hey Brian. When I'm not dancing around the world, I am at home with my kids, making scrambled eggs. When do I plan to come to Paris? I really, really want to get to Paris for the next video. I will say almost definitely. I don't want to say for certain about any countries I'll be going to other than the ones that have the most backers and the ones that I've talked about, Iran and Cuba and Bhutan and Myanmar. The rest of the itinerary is not certain, but I really would like to include France and Paris. What's the best airport you've been to? Oh, I love talking about airports. The best airport in the world is Changi Airport in Singapore. If you have not been, I highly recommend it. It is in Singapore, so it's kind of on the way to anywhere in all of Asia. So it's not hard to arrange a stopover in Changi. Changi has a million things to do. They've got a movie theater in the airport that is showing movies all the time for free. They've got a swimming pool in the airport. They've got an orchid garden in the airport. There's really good food because Singapore has tons of really good food. Honestly, no offense Singapore, but all of Singapore kind of feels like an airport. And the airport part of what feels like an airport is really, really good. The second best airport, in my opinion, I really like Schiphol in Amsterdam. A lot of people don't, so maybe I just had a really good experience there, but I like Schiphol. And in the US, my favorite airport, Renee, what's the best airport in the US?
Oh, not Atlanta.
Not Atlanta, I guess, but you know, the Delta, honestly, I've flown Delta a couple times recently, and they've done this thing where the Delta terminals will have tables with an iPad at each table, and if you want food, you just punch in what food you want, and it shows up in front of you because they know which iPad ordered it, and that's pretty cool.
That's
so yeah, I really like any airport that has a Delta terminal. Minneapolis comes to mind. Minneapolis is really good. I love SeaTac. SeaTac's a great airport. I can talk about airports all day.
Yeah.
How difficult was it to film in North Korea? What did your minders think of it?
Yeah.
What did my minders think of me dancing in North Korea? My minders, I explained to the tour guides who were North Korean what I was going to be doing, and they kind of smiled and nodded, which is kind of how they respond to most things you say to them. No, I don't think they really got it, and it did get a little dicey there, particularly the shot that's in the video. I sort of crashed the big dance celebration for Kim Jong-un's birthday, which turned out to be his last birthday because he died later that year in 2011. There was a mass dance celebration happening. We watched the dance, and then I wanted to be in the dance. And they said that was okay. When I told them I'm going to go in there and dance with people who are celebrating his birthday, they were kind of like, yeah, okay. And then when I did it, it kind of got dicey, and they tried to get me back on the bus. So I just seized the day and ran out, set my camera up, and started dancing. They weren't too cool with that, but it was all okay. I got out. They let me keep the footage. I will never leave America since we are the best country in the world. All right, Mopor, good for you.
Above that, PT kilowatt.
The dancing and the dancing on camera. Okay. Secondly, and perhaps more importantly, in your travels, which peoples or cultures have been most eager to participate, and which ones the most recalcitrant? Good word, PT Kilowatt. Brazilians are really into the dancing videos. They love dancing anyway, and they love what the videos are about. So I get huge response in Brazil. Israel, crazy response. Get tons of people to come out every time I go to Israel. South Korea, really, really into dancing videos. Lots of people come out to dance there. Those three come to mind, and those are three places that are very far away from each other. So what's cool about the dancing video is it translates into lots of different cultures, and people get it because it's just dance. It's not language. It's just dance. Everybody does it.
Do you remember the last person you danced for?
Yeah, there's a bunch. Okay, none of these. I don't think I've gotten any of these.
Yeah. Tom.
Tom Miet?
Yeah.
All right, Tom Miet. Tom Miet. I'm going to do a bunch of dances now, folks.
You did
Tom
that
Miet,
one.
thank you so much for backing the campaign.
Kathy Wright.
Andrew Ellis.
Catherine Wright.
Catherine Wright. Thank you so much, Catherine. I hope to dance with you soon. I hope this tides you over. Tak Win Chang. Tak Win Chang. Thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here you go. And May Wasserman. May, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here's your dance. Katie Pinyat. Thank you so much for your pledge. Here's your dance. And Cameron Jones. Thank you, Cameron, for backing the campaign. Rick Johnson, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Carol Boswell, thank you so much for increasing your pledge by $1. John Cunliffe, thank you for your support. Here's your dance. And give me a minute, Debbie. Debbie Cuck, thank you so much for raising your pledge. Here you go.
Two more.
Ooh, 2 more. All right. Rosario M. Nelson, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here you go. Caroline Johnson, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here's your dance. I'm gonna sit down now.
We just crossed the 4,100 backers mark.
4,100, yay.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people getting involved in this.
$60 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Now, are you training for your thank you video?
Yes. So after the campaign is done, we're going to film a thank you video where we take all 4,100 and counting backers who have supported the campaign, run their names up the screen, and dance for them all. That's going to take a while. So this is endurance training for that. I don't know when we're going to film it. Pretty soon. Yes, we're at 4,100 backers. We just crossed the final hour mark. We have 59 minutes to go. Every new backer, every raised pledge, I will do a dance for you.
Bill Rose increased his pledge.
Bill Knows, thank you so much for increasing your pledge. Here's your dance.
A few questions in the chat.
What's my job? Tom Yet, what's my job? This is my job. I'm a stay-at-home dad, first and foremost, and I do these videos about every 4 years, it seems. I go and make one of these videos. In between, I take care of the kids, and my partner works full-time. Did you count how many countries you visited? I used to. I remember when it was 28, 29, 30, 31. I remember when it was 50, 51, 52. That got in the 80s and 90s, and then I remember when I hit 100 countries. I remember once I went to the 100 country mark, I said, okay, I'm going to stop keeping track of this because this is getting silly. So I've been somewhere over 100 countries.
Did you get extra pages for your passport?
Oh, did I get extra pages from passport? Yes, I wish I brought my passports. I have a stack of 6 passports at home. All of them, when you fill up all 24 pages that come on a standard US passport, you have to get more pages added. You can't, or get a new passport. So the easier thing to do is to send the passport back to the nearest consulate, embassy, whatever, passport office, and they will staple in another 24 pages. And I've had to do that many, many times. Because yeah, if you run out of space, actually it was in Madagascar. And we landed in Madagascar, went through immigration, and they would not let me in because I did not have any room on my passport for another stamp. So I had to wait in a holding cell at the Antananarivo airport while my partner Melissa drove to the US Embassy, and she got them to stay open late for her so she could go in with my passport and get more pages stapled in and then rush back to the airport to get me into the country. So yes, always make sure you've got room on your passport before you land in a new country.
Can you have more than one passport for the United States of America?
Can you have more than one passport? Yes, you have to write a letter explaining why. What's the URL for this one? Cat, 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 I'm guessing.
Cat, 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 cat.
I'm noticing a theme here. ISGD.gd
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cats.
/cat, cat, 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 cat. Is that enough cats? It was enough cats. All right. The oatmeal wants me to give a shout out to Spider Cat. Spider Cat, this dance is for you.
Can you have more than one passport? Did we answer that?
Can you have more than one passport? As I recall, if you want to have more than one passport, you have to write a letter to the passport office explaining why you need one. The main reason people do it is because they want to go to Israel, and if they end up with an Israeli stamp on their passport, they can't go to a number of Muslim countries in the Middle East. So I had a second passport to get into Israel and still be able to go to other countries. I think if you run out of space or if you're doing a lot of travel, what we would do is when I was doing a bunch of trips back to back, I'd have two passports running concurrently, and the second one they'll give you just has a 2-year duration, and I travel on one passport while the other passport was running around different embassies getting visas, and then I'd get home, swap passports, and go traveling some more with that second passport while the first one was getting new visas added to it. So it's a complicated thing. If you're going to a bunch of countries that require visas, that's a good way to do it. Somebody said, have I been to Dubai before? Yeah, I've been to Dubai like 6 times, because Dubai, you're pretty much going to end up going to if you go anywhere in the Middle East. It's got a fantastic airport. Actually, when I was talking about airports earlier, I should have mentioned the Dubai airport is another one of the best in the world. It's got a hot tub you can hang out in for I think like 20 bucks an hour. If you have a layover and you brought a bathing suit with you, you can go hang out in the hot tub in the airport. If you don't have a bathing suit with you, I think they will lend you a bathing suit and you can get in the hot tub. Anyway, it's got a lot of great food. When I'm in the Dubai airport, I always get a McArabia. I don't generally eat McDonald's, but there's this thing in Middle Eastern countries at their McDonald's, so they sell the McArabia. It's better than anything on the menu at McDonald's here. It's basically just a falafel, but for some reason it tastes really, really good. And that's one reason why I love the airport. What do customs agents say? I lost the question.
Sorry. When they look at your passport.
What do customs agents say or do when they look at your passport? The ones that come to mind were getting in, again, Israel, going through immigration in Israel. They have a lot of questions because I have stamps in my passport from Syria and Saudi Arabia and Iraq and Lebanon. And so that raises a lot of questions for the immigration officer in Tel Aviv. So yeah, we will usually have long conversations, often in separated off rooms whenever I go to Israel. The UK asks a lot of questions when you go into the UK. I remember I had to, when I was traveling around the world for the Strive videos, I had to produce my contract with Strive to prove that they were paying me to travel around the world dancing in order for them to let me into London. And then in the US sometimes, yeah, I'll get stopped. These days, now that my current passport has stamps from my last Middle East trip on it, there are a lot more questions I got to answer. But oftentimes in countries, I'll show them my passport, they'll flip through it, and then okay, they'll say, what do you do? And I say, I dance on YouTube. And I say, all right, makes sense. What are some of the places that you think would have been best to live in? Best places to live in. We talking long term, like forever? Best places to live in? That's tough. This is corny, and this is not the answer you'd like, but I really love living in Seattle a lot, and I rarely think about living in other places. I'd like to live in London. I thought about that. I'd like to live in Zurich. Because of my partner's work, those have been things we've talked about from time to time, because our company has offices there. Those would both be great places to live. Actually, you know what? I have a good answer. You know where I'd love to live? Singapore. Singapore is close to a lot of amazing places, and it's really easy to get to those places from Singapore. Singapore is also incredibly safe, and it's hot, but it's nice most of the year there. I don't know, I just really like it. I haven't been there in a while, but Singapore is a place that I could see living in for a little while. All right, let's see if we have any
Two backers.
Two backers. You got them up there?
Yep.
All right, Cecil Carner, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here you go. And
Wait, before I do that one. I gotta figure out how to use my
this is a
iPhone.
tough one. Vianney Boncour. Vianney Boncour. Thank you so much for backing the campaign.
Have you ever met an American ambassador?
Have you ever met an American ambassador? No. I met the Attorney General of the Federated States of Micronesia, and he was American. But I've never been an ambassador, no. Among all the countries you visited, do you mainly advise a country that guides or people don't think about? Among all the countries I visited, do I mainly advise a country? Yeah, well, La Fitte Pierre. My favorite countries personally usually end up being the places that I know the least about before I go. Kind of like going to see a movie when you don't know anything about the movie. I end up being surprised and usually pleasantly surprised. So my favorite countries, I listed them earlier: Bhutan, Mongolia, Namibia, Micronesia, Myanmar, all countries that not a lot of people get to go to. All countries that aren't that difficult or expensive to go to, it's just that people don't go to them very often. And yeah, I recommend them all the time. For beginning travelers, people who have not been around the world very much and are nervous or don't have a lot of money to travel with, I recommend going to Southeast Asia: Vietnam, Thailand, Laos, Myanmar, Malaysia, and Singapore. Those are all really safe countries to go to. They're really affordable countries to go to, except probably Singapore. And they're pretty easy to get to, and they're really, really different. If you're from a Western country, if you're from the US or Europe or Australia, you go to Southeast Asia, it's going to be very different from what you're used to. But you're not taking on some of the risks that you would be taking, particularly if you're a female traveler going to Africa or the Middle East or India. Southeast Asia is cheap and safe and very, very different. Christine Martin, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here's your dance.
Are your videos done once you've visited every country?
Well, I don't think I'm going to visit every country. That's not an ambition of mine. It's not particularly on my agenda. And no, because again, it's really about dancing with the people and not the countries. I'm not trying to check them off the list. And I'm never going to run out of people to dance with. And I'm never going to run out of new places to dance with. So no. Eastern Township, Quebec, 100 miles east of Montreal. Hope you come here someday. Bon voyage. Thank you so much, Michelle G. I hope to get there too. Has your life ever been in danger while traveling? Yeah, I would say the most dangerous thing I ever did was in Norway on the Sherrod-Bolton Rock. I can't think of any time when anyone has threatened me or put my life in danger with a threat of violence. No. The world is a whole lot safer than it looks. And I've never been in a situation like that, even in some of the most dangerous countries in the world, or countries that are considered the most dangerous, or that frankly are legitimately very, very dangerous. I went to Yemen, I went to Afghanistan, I went to Pakistan, and I had a wonderful time in all of those countries and was never threatened. But I have done dumb things on my own that have put my life in danger. In Papua New Guinea, pretty much anything will kill you. And bugs will bite you, as I experienced. Just flying a plane and landing in Papua New Guinea, you're taking some risks on. So yeah, natural elements have put my life in danger. My stupidity has put my life in danger, but no person has ever put my life in danger, I don't think, that I know of. Where do you do for food? I'm gonna say, what do you do for food when you're on your travels? Yeah. Eating at restaurants every day must be expensive when in the West. Yeah, eating is expensive. I don't travel for very long at a time anymore. So I do generally just eat out, and yeah, it can be certainly pricier than eating at home, but it would also be logistically difficult given how fast I travel to carry food with me. So I just get food wherever I am, and it's a few bucks, and it's okay. What's the most unusual thing you've ever eaten? Fish semen. When I was in Japan, I was given a bowl. I didn't know what it was. And after I tried it, I found out that it was a bowl full of cultivated fish sperm. It did not taste very good. I would not eat it again. When I was in Mongolia, we were given boiled sheep's head, and it was, if you watch the show Hannibal, it was not unlike that. They just cut the head off of a sheep, and I think put it in a pot of boiling water. Its skin was still on it, its eyeballs were kind of white, and its tongue was hanging out. The guy next to me ate it. I did not eat it, but I watched him eating it, and that was not that much different. That was memorable. Would not do that again either. Bonnie Cow, is that new?
Yes.
Bonnie Cow, thank you so much for the campaign. Will you bring family along on your next worldwide trip? Well, I've got a son who really likes travel. He seems to have inherited the travel gene. The other one is a little too young, so we don't know yet, but he loves traveling and he's begging to come with me, so we will see about that. I hope so. Jay Grizzard, thank you so much, Jay, for backing the campaign. Here's your dance. Leslie Yoder, thank you very much for backing the campaign. Here you go. Carl Goodfellow, thanks for your support, Carl. Here's your dance. All right, 4,107 backers. We have 46 minutes to go in the campaign. We need $5,000 to get to our stretch goal. If we get to $150,000, I'll be adding 5 more cities to the list. They are Chicago, Portland, Denver, Philadelphia, and Columbus, Ohio. And then right on the edge, in 11th, 12th, and 13th place on the list, Toronto, Canada, Sydney, Australia, and Dusseldorf, Germany. So if Canada, Germany, and Australia get their pledges up, they'll be in the top 10. And if we make $150,000 in the next 43 minutes, I'll be going to those countries as well. If we don't make it to $150,000 by the time the campaign ends, then I'll be going to the top 5 cities, which are Boston, New York, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and I don't remember what the 5th city, London, England.
I think so. You danced for Carl, didn't you?
Yeah, that's a Carl.
Oh, we got 2 more pledges. 3.
Here they are.
Pierre Lafitte. That
That's
sounds like a
awesome.
character from literature.
Right? Or
Oh,
history.
we were just talking to Pierre Lafitte in the chat. Pierre, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here you go. Cynthia Dye, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Cynthia, I hope I get to dance with you soon. In the meantime, here's your dance to tide you over. And Pamela Warren, thank you so much for your support. Pamela, here's your dance. All right, can you tell a story of a deep connection you made with someone culturally very different? When I was in Iraq, I stayed in Erbil for 5 days. I went to the American Dance Association. No. It's an American dance group where dance teachers in the US go and they teach dance in places where dance instruction is pretty hard to come by. So they go to Iraq every year and they do a dance camp. And I went and visited them, and that's where I shot my clip for that's in Erbil, Iraq, in the 2012 video. There was a translator there named Omar, and we get to be really good friends. Omar. And so we keep in touch every now and then. I hope that, actually, that's one reason why I'm almost definitely going to France, is I've got to see Omar again.
Yeah.
Okay, Margaret, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here you go. All right, we're under the $5,000 mark with 32 minutes to go. Is that right? Am I doing my math right? 30, 42 minutes.
42,
42
right
minutes to
there.
go. That's right, it's right there.
What's the first thing you eat, crave once you're back in the US?
What's the first thing I eat when I get back in the US?
What do you crave?
I am not a foodie. It's not so much food that I crave when I'm coming home. It's food that I crave when I'm going out. If there was, it's not the question you asked, but if there's only one food I could eat for the rest of my life and I had to only eat that food without blinking, it would definitely be sushi. That's one of the reasons I love going to Japan. So I wouldn't say I come to Seattle and crave sushi, but it is what I go and eat. I like going to Lucy Sushi because it's kaiten and it comes by on the conveyor belts and you don't have to wait. But I'm not really that fussy and I don't get cravings for food that I have to have. Sean Brown, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here's your dates. Just so you know, if you're coming in, when people back at $10, they get a vote for where they live. I round up all the people near large cities and count their votes for that cities, and the top cities in the campaign I am going to go and dance with. Dance there, and I'm going to dance with every backer I can find while I'm there. If you back for $25, you're going to get a postcard from somewhere far away and exotic during the trip. We will make a postcard of me dancing and I will sign it and we will send it to you. If you back for $100, you're gonna get a set of 6 different postcards that you can put on your fridge from lots of crazy, far away, exotic places around the world. If you back for $400, you get a danceogram. Do we still have 4 danceograms left?
We'll check.
So a danceogram is a custom dancing video from around the world that I will make for you to give as a gift to a loved one or family member who you don't love at all. And you tell me the message that you want me to say, and I will say it while I'm dancing all around the world. That's the danceogram. We've got 4 left. We keep selling out of them and raising the number. And then we have, I think, last time I checked, 2 more $2,000 Matt Comes to You pledges. So if you pledge $2,000, I will fly to you anywhere in the world. I will cover the expenses of flying there and getting there and staying with you, and we will dance. Not guaranteed to go in the video. I'm not going to do advertising or endorsements for that pledge, but I will come and I will dance with you, and we will hang out and we will have fun. I got 2 more of those left. Okay, new pledges. Sam Valentini, thank you so much. Wow, these are big pledges. Sam, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here you go. Liz, that's a lot of L's and I's.
Bailey.
Liz Maley, thank you so much. I hope I got your name sort of right or really right. Liz, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here's your dance. Katie McGee? Katie McGuy? I feel like if it was McGee, it would be
yeah. Sure.
Katie McGuy, thank you so much for your support. Here's your dance.
3 more.
Okay, Perry Craver, thank you. Perry, you get a postcard. Here's your dance. Sabrina Liner, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here you go. Gina Colombato, thank you for your support. Here's your dance. I hope to see you soon. All right. What bags do you use? Next channel.
And do you check a bag or just carry on?
Do I check bags or carry on? I usually check bags. I will, when I'm traveling for a month at a time, it's pretty hard to fit everything in a carry-on. I'm not one of those travelers who does that. I don't have, outside of the US, I don't have a lot of problems with lost luggage. Actually, in the US these days, I don't have a problem with lost luggage because you know what? They do a thing now at airports, most airports, where they photograph your luggage when it's going on the machine. And it seems like error rates have gone way down. Do you think I'm wrong?
I had no idea that this was a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing now. They'll take a digital photo of your bag so they know where it went. And bags get lost a lot less often now than they used to. I check bags. It's not a big deal. And then I don't have to worry about packing everything into a tiny little bag and then getting into the compartment and getting in a fight with the flight attendant. I don't deal with that. I check my luggage. It works. It's fine. I bring Osprey luggage. I used to get the big 90 cubic liter backpacks that you can wear. Probably wouldn't travel that way as much anymore. I became a convert a few years ago to the rolly bag, which is what most people use. Didn't used to work for me when I was traveling places in Africa and stuff like that, because there aren't a lot of paved roads where you don't want to be the guy who's kind of wheeling rolly luggage in Mozambique. But These days I do use rolly bags. I like the hybrid ones where it's got rollies, but you can carry it as a backpack. That's a really good idea if you're going to places that aren't, you know, paved with lots of concrete. But yeah, Osprey I Love You is really good, and I have a Victorinox rolly bag now that I use as well. What do I like to read? Well, I spent last year reading Game of Thrones, as did many, many other people, and it was good. And I've been actually thinking about rereading the series. If I'm going on a lot of big trips next year, I might do another reread before the next season starts. Sending a donation now. Please wish my husband, Mark, I believe. Mark, happy birthday. Sorry we missed it. Here's your dance. And that's Skjalver. Skjalver, you're probably going to get a second dance when you pop up with your pledge. Tess Matos, thank you so much for raising your pledge. Here's your dance. Arno Greller, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here you go. All right, 36 minutes to go.
2 more.
Jonathan Howard, thank you for your support. Here's your dance. Kathleen Hill, thank you for your pledge. I hope I get to see you soon. Here's your dance. Whew. Doing
Can you answer
this.
the Tonga question? I want to know the answer to that Tonga question after you're done.
Which one?
The Tonga question? From Jan M.
The one that's highlighted?
No. Scroll the other way.
That one?
Yeah.
Matt, did you remember the wave that hits you on the 2008 tour in Tonga? That was one of my favorite scenes. Looks worse than it was. Okay, if you've seen the 2008 video, when I was in Tonga, a wave crashed on my head. So I went to Tonga to dance with humpback whales because it's one of the few places in the world where you can get in the water with humpback whales and they will allow it. While I was there, I had a stopover at the main island, Bavau, and I had about 3 hours before my flight. So I got a taxi cab and I said, take me wherever I should go in 3 hours. And he took me to this place with the whistling waves. So it's a spot where the current is pretty much always hitting the volcanic rock there really, really hard, and the waves shoot up in the air. And I think it makes a sound, but no, I think what it is there's a belief there that if you howl at the waves, it will make them bigger. So he took me there, and he howled. He went, woo-hoo, woo-hoo, and then got like 60-foot waves shooting up in the air. And I thought, well, okay, I have to get a clip of this. So I set up the camera. I had my taxi driver be the cameraman as I went down and stood right where the wave was going to crash and danced. And I won't say it didn't hurt. I did get a little bloody, not because of the water, but because it was volcanic rock, which is really, really sharp. And I lost a pair of really good sunglasses there, which I'm sad about still, 8 years later. But the wave didn't hit quite as hard as it looks like a 60-foot wave would hit. It shot up in the air, and the water became really diffuse. So the volume of water that was landing on me wasn't that much, but it looked really, really good. It was enough to knock me over, but not enough to, you know, pulverize me. Hey, Wynn, what's your favorite ride at Disneyland?
Oh.
Okay, was it Toy Story Mania?
Toy Story Midway Mania?
Yeah, favorite ride at Disneyland right now, I'm gonna go with Toy Story Midway Mania. What am I forgetting?
You're really good at that one.
Not really good.
You're better than anybody I've played with.
Yeah, Toy Story Midway Mania. Hi, Wynn. What happened to Where the Hell is Matt? I like Star Tours too, but it's Midway Mania you can play, and it's different every time.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to, well, Star Tours is different every time too. I don't know. Toss up. I'm still going to go with Toy Story Midway Mania. That question's gone. It was a good one.
Somebody really wants to know if you will come to Algeria.
Will I come to Algeria one day? I hope so. I don't know. I've never been to Algeria, but I would like to include it. Good choice. Thanks, Wynn. What happened to Where the Hell is Matt? Became Where the Heck is Matt. So for this video, I changed the name from Where the Hell is Matt to Where the Heck is Matt for a lot of reasons. So one problem I've been having is, what do I call the video? A long time ago, I named my website, which was just a blog, Where the Hell is Matt? This was in 2003. And then I made a video, and I called the video Where the Hell is Matt? And then I made another video, and it had to have a different name. So I called it Where the Hell is Matt 2008, which was not very inspired. And then I made another video, and I had to call that one Where the Hell is Matt 2012. And now when I'm talking about the videos, everybody says, I liked that video. And I say, which video? And they say, I'm not sure. And I say, was it the one with India in it? Or was it the one with North Korea in it? And they say, it was the one with North Korea in it. And I say, oh, that was 2012. And they say, okay, the years are not working. So I needed a new name. And another thing that's been going on is a lot of teachers show these videos in their classrooms, and they have a big problem with the name. They don't personally have a problem saying where the hell's Matt, but the parents of the kids in their classes do. So they always say, hey, can you call it something other than where the hell is Matt, because I can't show it in my class. So this is kind of a nod to them so that they can show it in schools, because I think that's really cool. And also I needed a new name. So where the heck is Matt is what I'm calling from now on. Karen Brown, thank you so much for your support. Here's your dance. Rosella Katam, thank you for your support. Here's your dance. And Sam says, thank you for your dance during the live feed. Made me smile. You're welcome, Sam.
$30 minutes.
30 minutes to go. We're in the final half hour. We're almost at 146,000. That leaves us with just over 4,000 to go. If we get to $150,000 before the campaign ends, we're adding 5 more cities that I will definitely be dancing in. And those cities are Chicago, Portland, Denver, Philadelphia, and Columbus, Ohio. So if you live in any of those cities and you really want to be dancing in the next video, back the campaign. It's not a guarantee that you'll make the cut, but I will definitely be going there to dance. Also, Toronto, Dusseldorf, and Sydney, Australia are right on the edge of that top 10. If they push any of those cities that I named out of the top 10, then I'll definitely be going there. So if you're in those cities, not only will it help you, should you help us get to 150,000, but you should also add your vote for your city so you get in the top 10. All right, any new backers?
Nope.
Okay, drinking some water.
That's great.
All right, while we have a minute, here's another shout out to Spider Cat. Matt from the Oatmeal has been sending me pictures throughout this live broadcast that he is drawing at his computer where he is sitting comfortably. And he would like a shout out to Spider Cat. So I'm gonna do that again. Here you go, Spider Cat. I wonder if I can get his other ones up. Just hit back. Yeah, all right. Matt wants me to give a shout out to Banjo Batman. This is dance for Banjo Batman. All right, what do we got left? This is poutine eating. I think that's me. I think this is me in about 30 years after eating a lot of poutine and staying out of the sun. So here's a shout out to eating poutine. Now I'm not going to dance for any poutine. I'm going to eat poutine. Now I have some poutine on my shirt. This is a poutine stain, so I'll always remember poutine. What has been the most odd, most fun, and scariest mode of transportation I have taken? Oh, Linda, okay. There was a train in Spain. That was absolutely terrifying. There was rain, and there was a plane. And I ate some Nutri-Grain bars that didn't sit well. Linda wants to know what the oddest, most fun, and scariest mode of transportation I've ever taken. Well, definitely something in India. I'm trying to think of what it was. The trains in India. I never got to ride on the roof. I don't know that they do that anymore. There's probably some routes in India where people still ride on the roof. Okay, in Tanzania, Africa, I took a bus ride to Lake Victoria, and the bus route went straight through the Serengeti Desert, and it was a 15-hour bus ride. And the bus was packed. When a bus in Tanzania, it'll fill up with people all the seats will fill. So there's no more seats left, and more people keep coming on. And so they go all the way to the back, and they're standing in the aisle. And then the aisles will fill up with people, and so there's no more room in any of the aisles, and you're sitting in the chair, if you're lucky enough to have a chair, and you've got some guy's butt right in your face. I'm just gonna say, the cumulative body odor in that bus in Tanzania, I will never forget. It stays with me. I wake up in the night, and I can still smell that bus. I paid the person next to me a bunch of Tanzania shillings to switch seats with me so I could stick my head out the window and breathe air during the 15-hour bus ride. And I remember we went through the Serengeti Desert, and a giraffe had died by the side of the road, and there was a car crash. I don't remember it very well. There's a little bit of PTSD, but I know there was a dead giraffe and a flipped over truck on the side of the road. And our bus stopped, and everybody poured out, and everybody stood around the car crash staring. And then we got back on the bus and kept on going. And that was a very strange and memorable experience. That's not a funny story, but that would be the scariest and most dangerous mode of transportation I've ever taken. Because we were in, I remember, I forgot about this. We were on the bus going through the Serengeti Desert, and I had my head out the window so I could breathe fresh air. And I remember looking, and a lion jumped out of the bushes and clawed at our bus as it was driving by. I don't know what it was hoping to accomplish, but a wild lion did jump out and attack our bus. Hello from Nova Scotia, or as Renee says, Scanda, Scotia.
Yeah, Scotia.
But is this an ingress thing?
No, this is my family.
Oh, hi, Jonathan. Please come to Nova Scotia someday, and we'll shower you with poutine. All right. I'm going to eat some more poutine for Jonathan. This is going to just be the next half hour is just going to be a poutine eating marathon.
And the poutine in Scanda, Scotia is really tasty.
Is it? Is it different?
Yeah, it's better.
What are the different breeds of poutine?
I think I'm not a poutine expert. I'm sure that somebody from Canada could.
Canadians eat a lot of poutine.
Yeah.
But it comes from France, doesn't it?
No, I think it was developed in Montreal, I believe.
Oh.
And there's different kinds of gravy. I know that the further west you get, the darker the gravy is.
Is poutine to France the way pizza is to Italy?
No.
Where it sort of actually happened. Like pizza was invented in Italy, but pizza as we know it came from the United States. And I think did the Quebecois perfect poutine or alter it in a way that is now how we think of poutine?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Mm-mm.
Have you ever taken dance lessons? Yeah, I've actually taken a lot of dance lessons. Duh. After the videos took off, I started learning to dance, and I worked with a dance choreographer for a while, just learning how to move my body. Because when I first started this, and I had the idea for the 2012 video to learn dances, it was seriously like I didn't even have the neural connections in my brain to tell my arm to do a certain thing. So I worked with her for about a year and got as far as I've gotten, which is when I tell my arm to do this, and now it does this. I know that sounds strange, but just making those associations to learn to see somebody moving and to be able to imitate that movement was a lot harder for me early on than I thought it would be. And yeah, so I took dance lessons, I took tap lessons, met a lot of different amazing dancers. I still can't really dance, but I keep trying. I don't try to make a show of being bad at dancing. I really sincerely try my best to dance, and I know I'm not very good at it, but I also know it doesn't matter. So yeah, I love learning how to dance, and hopefully someday we'll have more time to take dance lessons. Freddie Steffi, thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here you go. A lot of questions. Have I been to the Treehouse Hostel in Olympos, Turkey? No, I've never been to Olympos, Turkey. Holy crap, Lion, best poutine I've had in Canada is Costco, for reals. Thanks, Linda. All right, I'll make sure I go to a Costco next time I'm in Canada. Poutine is Canadian. So they don't even eat poutine at all in France?
I don't think, well, they may now, but.
I can put veggies in there, okay. Were you actually scared or concerned when you took your first trip around the world? And did you plan every single detail out? Lord, no, I definitely did not plan every single detail. I went to, back then people used these things called travel agents, and I did go and meet with a travel agent a bunch of times when I was making the 2006 video. And I got all the major flights. I got this, there's this thing that they did, I think they may still do it, where you can book a round the world ticket where you can have like 8 or 10 legs. You pay a flat fee to be able to go to a certain number of places within a certain period of time. It gives you some flexibility. And I did the major legs, like from continent to continent with that big ticket, and then I do individual planning within those regions pretty much on the fly. Nowadays, I plan things out a lot better because when you plan ahead, you can go to a lot more places in a lot less time, and it's much more about getting to as many places as I can efficiently now than it was before. Before, it was really about traveling the world and having a good time and not worrying too much, but now I'm really focused on making the best video I can. So yeah, I plan everything out. Will I come to San Francisco? Yeah, absolutely. I was in San Francisco a week ago dancing, and it's the biggest supporter I've got worldwide in the campaign. I have the most backers in San Francisco, so I would say I will definitely be back there, and I will probably be dancing somewhere other than San Francisco. There's a lot of people in San Mateo, Santa Clara, San Jose who have backed the campaign, and also there's just places to dance there, so I would say, yeah, I'll definitely be there soon. Cesaras, thank you very much. I think I got that wrong. Cesaras. Cesaros, thank you so much for your support. Here's your dance. Sean Hagemeyer. Sean Hagemeyer, thank you for backing the campaign. Here's your dance.
Hey, Sean.
All right. Hey, Matt, we would love to see you in Crete. Harskalion in Greece. Do you consider to come here? Yeah, I'd love to. Crete is in Greece. Renee, back me up here. Crete's in Greece.
Yeah,
it's an island.
Yeah.
I've never been to Crete. I've been to Samos, and I've been to Santorini. Thank you. I have not been to Crete. I would love to tour the Greek islands. Absolutely. The success of the dance lessons really shows in the 2012 video. I don't know if that's sarcastic, Rowan, but thank you. Poutine is Quebecois. Please, please, please come to Sherbrooke. That's French.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to try. Come to San Jose. I will. I was there in October. I will be back. San Jose, I end up in a lot because it's the Bay Area. David Reed decreased. I'm not going to dance for David. I don't have enough energy to spare. All right. We're at 20 minutes to go. $4,000 away from our goal of 150. If we get to 150,000, we add 5 more cities guaranteed. I will be going to dance there, and those cities are Chicago, Portland, Denver, Philadelphia, and Columbus, Ohio. So if we get to that goal, I will definitely be dancing in those cities. Well, not definitely, because they might have gotten knocked out by 11, 12, or 13, which is Toronto, Canada, Sydney, Australia, Dusseldorf, Germany. If any of those cities beat out the 5 I've mentioned previously, I will definitely be going to those cities if we can get to the goal of 150,000 in the next 20 minutes. That's going to take a lot of pledges. Carol Powell, pledge. I think we already danced for Carol, but I'm going to do it again.
It's a new one.
Carol, here's your dance. All right. We got some new ones? No, that's it.
Any questions?
Amazing thing you've done. Actually, planning as my first trip to go through Canada. I'm German. I think it's way easier than traveling the world, but I'm amazed and inspired by your experiences. Thank you very much, Deathmatch 1993. There you go. Have I ever been to Romania? No, I've not been to Romania. I've not been to a lot of the Baltic, Eastern European countries. I've been to Romania or Bulgaria or Azerbaijan or Algeria, Monrovia. How many can I name? I've not been to, where's Croatia? I've never been to Croatia. I've been to Serbia, and that's about it. I wasn't being sarcastic. One of the things I liked in the 2012 video was the attention paid to dance as an art form. It was a nice evolution. Thanks, Rowan. It's the island where the Minoan civilization started during the Bronze Age. Oh, wow, cool.
This is really educational.
Yeah, oops, meant to add, accidentally changed my pledge from $50 to $10. My bad, increasing. Thanks, David. Have you ever been to Romania? And where do you like to take visitors when they come to Seattle? Where do I like to take visitors when they come to Seattle? I used to love taking people to the library, but nobody else is as amazed by the Seattle Library as I am. Seattle Center has gotten really cool.
Yeah.
The new playground, if people come to visit with kids, I take them to the Seattle Center because it's got the best playground I've ever seen anywhere in the world. EMP's got some actually cool stuff in their museum now. What else? Oh, Museum of Flight. Museum of Flight is amazing. I love space stuff. If you love space stuff, go to Museum of Flight. There's an SR-71 Blackbird there. They've got a space shuttle that you can get inside of. They've got a Concorde jet that you can get inside of. You can get inside of Lyndon Johnson's Air Force One plane. Yeah, Museum of Flight is actually a really, really great museum. David, increase your pledge. All right, thanks so much, David. Here's your dance.
You know, one place I sometimes take people is the Ballard Locks. Are you excited about that?
Yes.
Or is that gotten old?
No, I love going to Ballard Locks. I go there like 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ballard Locks during the summer is amazing because it's a series of locks leading into Lake Union. And so there's always people with their yachts and fishing ships coming in through the locks, and you can see them up close if you go to the Ballard Locks. And the salmon run. The salmon, they have a salmon ladder there. And if you go there in July, August, September, you see huge salmon, like huge. You can see them through the surface swimming, and you can see seals and sea lions that go and eat those salmon. And every once in a while, if you're lucky, especially if you're out in a kayak, you will see a sea lion leap out of the water with a giant salmon in their mouths, and they will rip it to pieces, and there's blood splattering everywhere, and the seagulls dive down to get the bits. So yeah, lots going on in Ballard Locks. It's pretty cool.
I had a friend come in from Wyoming, and I thought Ballard Locks were pretty boring, but he thought it was the most amazing thing he'd
It
ever
is
seen.
pretty amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin Jones, thank you so much for your support. Here you go. Jay, increase their pledge again. Thank you for your support, Jay. Here's your dance. And Beth Hawk, thanks for your support. I hope to dance with you soon, and I hope this tides you over. Nicole Gavin, increase their pledge by $1. Thanks, Nicole. Here's your dance. Ow!
That's a painful dollar.
Ooh, that was not worth $1. Cheryl Opoiko, can you increase the font size on that? Cheryl Opoiko, here you go. Okay, we are just about at $146,000 with 15 minutes to go. What about the Ukraine? I've never been to the Ukraine. Have I been to the Ukraine? No, I've never been to the Ukraine. Or Kazakhstan. I've been to 3 stands. There are 7 stands. I've been to 3 stands. I've been to Afghanistan, I've been to Pakistan, I've been to Uzbekistan. Which one has Bishkek?
No, I don't know.
Kyrgyzstan. I've been to Kyrgyzstan. I haven't been to Uzbekistan. Besides English, sign, and dance, do you speak any other languages? I don't speak sign language. I gesticulate a lot, but that's not sign language. I've already pledged and can't wait for your next video. No, I don't speak any other languages. I speak un poco de español, but really not enough to get around. And I got to pick up Duolingo again and work on my Spanish before the next trip. You'd probably enjoy York in England, ex-capital city and full of medieval Viking stuff. Yeah, I probably would enjoy that. All right, Will Baird, thank you so much for raising your pledge. Here you go, Will. I'm getting sore calves. We're at $146,000 on the dot. 14 minutes to go. I don't know if we can make $4,000 in 14 minutes. Can we do it?
Might take a bring that to me pleasure.
Coincidentally, we have exactly $4,000 left to go in the next 14 minutes, and we have exactly 2 Matt Comes to You tiers that cost $2,000 each. So if 2 people were to magically pledge and get those Matt Comes to You tiers, we would be sold out. What Matt Comes to You is I fly to you anywhere in the world and I pay the costs. Can't come on a specific day. You need to be flexible on the timing, but wherever you are, I will come to you and we will dance. Did you really help in Army Men RTS? Yes, I did help. I was the lead designer of Army Men RTS. If you've played it, if you've heard of it, yeah, I made like 4 or 5 of the levels in that game because I like that game a lot. Well, thank you, Phoenix. I like Phoenix Wright, Attorney at Law as well. You ever heard of Phoenix Wright, Attorney at Law?
No.
It's a game. It's a law game.
How fitting.
Yeah, it's a Japanese legal game. All right, 13 minutes to go. Any pledges?
146.
Anybody want the last chicken nugget?
I think you do.
12 minutes to go.
The green chili sauce is good. So, can we talk a little bit about travel mishaps? Travel mishaps happen. There's no reason to be scared of what if your luggage gets lost. If your luggage just gets lost, you can just go to a cheap store and buy a shirt and some underwear. If you miss your flight, you just find something to do at the airport.
Yeah, I would say a big aspect of making international travel a lot less scary is to just not worry so much when things go wrong. Things go wrong. Things are definitely going to go wrong all the time. And what you come to realize is it's not the end of the world. It's going to be okay. The less rigid your plan is, the less it matters when things don't go according to that plan. So when I travel these days, as I've said, it is pretty tightly scheduled and rigid, but there is some flexibility within there, and I don't freak out when we have to deviate from that plan, as we often do. Certain parts of the world, really, any kind of planning is shooting yourself in the foot, because it's very hard to do things quickly or efficiently or the way you expect them to happen in a lot of parts of the world. So when I travel, I try to be as loose as I can in how things go down. And when I get a flat tire and I'm stuck in the desert by the side of the road, hoping somebody will drive by and pick me up, I know that I'm going to be okay, because I probably am going to be okay, and freaking out about it is definitely not going to help. So that's an important travel skill. What's the best airline you have ever picked? My two favorite airlines are Singapore Airlines. I've mentioned Changi Airport in Singapore, which I'm deeply in love with. I also love their airline. Singapore is great, and I also really like Emirates. I got to fly on Emirates when I was shooting an endorsement for Visa a number of years ago. I got to really travel in style. I flew from South Korea to Dubai on Emirates Airline, and it was a 2-floor plane, and the top floor was every seat, they would sprinkle rose petals on the seat. Every seat had a mini bar of its own. You had your own mini bar and flat screen TV. The front of the plane had 8 private suites. I don't know, I assumed when I was on the plane that Gaddafi was in one of the suites and probably Robert Mugabe was in another one. It had that vibe to it. And then the back of the plane had an open bar where you could go back there, and there was a couple couches and a bartender. So it's hard not to be fond of Emirates when they do stuff like that. But if I'm paying for the ticket, I'm not flying that way. And Singapore still treats you really well. So the Australian Airlines, I think Qantas is really good, and Air New Zealand. I've had a really great time. Whenever you fly Qantas or Air New Zealand, you're probably flying for a long time, so it really matters how comfortable the seats are. And I think a lot of Australians disagree with me, but I find those flights to be pretty tolerable considering that they're 15 hours long. Okay, would you like to talk about city tours? Okay, yeah, sure. So once this campaign ends, in how many minutes? Like 8 minutes?
Yeah.
9 minutes to go. After the campaign ends, I am going to take a break because Star Wars comes out tonight, and the holidays are coming up, and I've got a vacation planned, so I'm not going to be doing anything for a while. It's going to be a little bit quiet. End of January, we're going to sit down. We're going to start planning out the video. Probably in the first few months of the year, I'm going to start traveling to the top cities, 5 or 10, still up in the air. I'll know in 9 minutes whether I'm going to 5 or 10 cities to dance, and then I'm going to start getting to the exotic places that I really, really want to get to, like Iran, Cuba, and Bhutan, and Myanmar, all probably in the first half of the year. And then cities that didn't make the cut, but that I really, really want to include in the video, I'm going to start planning out going to those as well, and get as much of the video done by May as I can. And then summertime, which is a great time to travel and a great time to get people out and dancing. I'm going to be shooting some more clips there as well. Okay, so we've got a pledge from Teresa Kevorkian. Thank you so much for backing the campaign. Here you go. Also, if you follow me on Facebook, you will hopefully see the events that we've got planned. I'm going to put notice up about which cities I'll be dancing in as far in advance as I can. Hopefully at least a couple weeks, and we'll plan out, or I'm going to work with people who are from those cities and planning out where specifically to dance. I'll be putting event notices on Facebook. So if you follow my page on Facebook, you will hopefully see those notices. Another way to definitely be notified when I'm dancing is to sign up on my website, wheretheheckismatt.com. You scroll down to the bottom where it says follow, there's a sign up page. Tell me your name, email address, and where you live. And when I'm coming to any place near where you live, I will send you an email to let you know. All right, 7 minutes to go, $146,000. I'm going to say it does not look like we're going to get $4,000 in 7 minutes. A lot of things would need to happen very quickly. So it looks like I'll be going to the top 5 cities, which are New York, Boston, Los Angeles, London, and DC. The top 5.
And where else?
Where,
I mean,
oh, just think about where else.
Sure. But I mean,
and a lot of other places.
Yeah, exactly.
But those 5 for sure.
Yeah.
Matt, I want to travel where I need to go first. Have you ever? I don't understand the question. Have you ever heard of post-crossing? Where? No, I don't know what post-crossing is. Where do I go if I have no money but still want to explore and turn up? All right, I'm going to highlight any questions that I definitely have to answer. In the meantime, I'm going to dance for Donna Sufura, the Dayako. Here you go. Thanks so much for backing the campaign.
I think that question was about if I'm only going to go to one place, where should I travel to first?
If you're only going to go to one place, I don't know. I don't know where you are.
Depends on where's home.
Yeah, I don't know what your circumstances are, so it's hard to say. I talked about a few of my favorite places to go to, and I talked about Southeast Asia, which is a great place to go if you are new to backpacker style on the world travel. I like Southeast Asia a lot because it's very different from what I'm familiar with growing up in the United States, and it's relatively safe and very affordable to travel in. You can go for a long time, see a lot of different places without a lot of money. 5 minutes to go. 4,132 backers. By the way, this is the most backed dancing project of all time in Kickstarter, with the most backers and the most funded. So I want to thank all 4,132 of you who helped make that possible.
And Kickstarter.
And Kickstarter too. Definitely would not be able to do this without Kickstarter. All right. What's the final video going to look like? Well, the final video is going to be it's going to be a bit shorter than the last ones. The last video I made was epic, at 4.5 minutes long, I don't know too much about what it's going to be. I know a little bit about what's going to be in it, but I'm going to spend next year thinking really hard about how to make the best video I can. The U.S. and Cuba just agreed to resume commercial flights today, so that should make your travel easier. Wow, I did not know that. That's exciting.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I think they were talking about that on the radio this morning.
Because before that, you had the only way you could go was if you were in some.
You had to fly to Canada.
Yeah, you had to fly to Canada or Mexico, or to do that legally, you had to join a tour group, stuff like that.
All right, 4 minutes to go. I'm eating a chicken nugget in the final 4 minutes of the campaign.
Celebratory nugget. Who's going to be the last backer? I think there might be a few people waiting in the wings trying to be the last one.
3 minutes to go.
And less by the time they see it.
At 371 new backers. All right, folks, 3 minutes left to go. We're at 146,000. If we get to 150,000, then we'll be adding 5 more cities that I will definitely be dancing in. Those cities are Columbus, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Denver, Colorado, Chicago, Illinois, and I always forget the 5th. I can always only remember 4 of them. Portland, Oregon. So if you get to 150, I'll be adding those cities. If not, I'll be dancing the top 5, which are New York, LA, Boston, DC, and London.
2 minutes to go.
Looks like post crossing allows people to receive postcards from random places in the world.
Cool.
Okay.
There you go. Hi, Davis kids.
I know you email when
Hey,
you're dancing in
family.
someone's home city. Is there a way to sign up for multiple cities? Yeah, absolutely. You can sign up for multiple cities. If you go to the sign up page on my site, you can put as many entries in as you want for different places. And if I'm going to any of those places, I will send you an email. Yeah, and if you follow on Facebook, when I'm dancing on location, I'll put an event up several weeks in advance, saying I'm going to be dancing there, and you will hopefully see it and on Facebook if you follow me. I know you email when you're dancing in someone's home city. Is there a way to send? Yeah, okay. Oh, 94 seconds to go. 93, 92, 91.
13-second delay.
There's a 13-second delay.
Yeah, we won't do a countdown
Oh.
with the people at home because they'll be late.
All right.
In a minute, we'll be able to announce who the last backer is.
It looks like the last backer is going to be Donna Sufora, unless anybody comes in the next, right now for me, 70 seconds. For you, I guess it's 55 seconds. Yeah, here's a timing delay test. It should say 40 seconds for you right now. For me, it says 55. It should say the counter, if you're looking at it, should say 30 seconds because there's a 15-second delay for me. Any new backers? Will they show up? Do you know Reddit? Have you ever done an AMA? Yes, I have done an AMA on Reddit. If you Google it, you will find it. It was really, really fun. I did it in 2012. All right. By the time you're seeing this, we'll be in the final 3 seconds, 2, 1, and the campaign will be over. But for me, there's still 15 seconds left to go. We may have another backer. If not,
We do. We have 3.
3 new backers. Let's see them.
Jay, David Reed, Jay Gizzard.
All right, scroll down. It looks like Jay increased their pledge. Thank you so much, Jay, for increasing your pledge. 0 seconds to go. David Reed changed their reward selection. Thank you so much for your support, David. Here's your dance. And Jay Grizzard, thanks so much for backing the campaign. Here's your dance. And the last one, Judy. Judy backed the campaign, the last backer before we close. Thank you so much, Judy. Here's an extra special dance for you. All right. Thank you, everybody. $146,075, 4,133 backers, the most backed dance campaign of all time on Kickstarter. Thank you, everybody, for all your support. And we're done. I'm going to go home and sleep and hang out with my family. Go see Star Wars as soon as I can, which isn't for like 2 weeks because of the theater that we are seeing it, and it is sold out for 2 weeks. Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you so much, Joel, Renee, and Kenny, for all your help ceaselessly throughout this whole thing. We're done. Anything else left to say? All right.
See you dancing.
Bye-bye. Hope to dance with you guys soon.